businesses, which ones are the ones where I can do the work in the business? See, think of it, the dog food business. I'm not making the dog food. I'm not doing any of that. The hairdressing, I'm not cutting hair. I'm not doing any of that work. See, the difference between me and most business people is they're good at the job of the business. I'm good at running the business of the business. Does that make sense? You know, and by the way, I don't tell you my story to impress you, but to impress upon you what's possible. See, I'm just a kid from Brisbane, Australia. If I can go do it, then you can go do it too. You know, as we go. By the way, how many of you are business owners already? Let me just see a show of hands, those that own their own business. Hands right up high, please. I just want to get a good idea. Okay, those of you that work for someone else, where are you sitting? So I want to see how many we got so I can tailor my speech. Fantastic. Any students in the room here this evening? Any young people? Fantastic. Good to see. Sitting over here down the front. Good to know. Any business owners that wish they still work for someone else? Any of you in the room? Any business owners that want to get a job again? You know. I don't know what's worse at that, raising your hand or laughing at it. It's like, which one's worse? It's like, hang on, maybe I do. Because some days we all want to go back and get a job, and then other days we're like, no, I love running my own stuff and doing my own thing. See, that's a little bit of my background. I mean, you'll notice tonight I just tell stories. It's basically the way I teach. I don't teach by doing anything other than that. So let's look at the subject of this evening. They talk about billionaire. I want you to consider yourself a billionaire in training, basically. Okay, so you're a trainee billionaire. That's your goal. Now, why do I teach people billionaire rather than millionaire? Well, let's look at this for a simple fact. In today's world, millionaire's not rich anymore. Would that be fair to say? You know, to be a million, I know some of you are like, holy shit, Brad, $1 million would be great. But all right, that'd be a nice starting point. But the thing is this, if you shoot for $1 million and you fall short, you end up with only hundreds of thousands. But if you shoot for like a deca-millionaire or a center, 10 or 100 millionaire, or even billionaire, and you fall short and you go, oh, look, I'm going for 10 million, but I only got 2. Would you be upset if you only got 2? You'd be fine, true or not? Okay, so my goal is not to teach you to go for an average level of wealth. My goal is to teach you to shoot for a very high level of wealth so that you actually go after something big. And that's the challenge for a lot of people. Most people, their goal when it comes to money, guess what their only goal is? To pay the bills. That's their only goal. Their goal is like, okay, I want to pay the bills, and as long as I pay the bills, I'm okay. No. The goal is to actually create serious wealth so you can add value to yourself, your family, and your community. Once you create wealth, you can give away. See, it's hard to give away $1 million if you don't have $1 million to give away. You know, and this is the thing about creating wealth for yourself, your community, and all those around you. So, is it okay if we go for $1 billion, not just $1 million tonight? Is that okay? If you're a trainee billionaire, not millionaire, yes? Okay, by the way, I only have 4 real goals. Actually, I have one major rule at my seminars. It's a very simple rule. The rule is we've got to have fun. Everyone call that out so you remember it. What do we got to have? Okay, in my country, when you say fun, you actually smile and enjoy yourself. And see, here's the thing. When it comes to the subject of business in particular, if you're not having fun in business, you're doing something wrong. Okay, if your business is not something you enjoy, in fact, even worse than that, all the business owners in the room, think of it this way. If you're not having fun in your business, your staff aren't having fun. If your staff aren't having fun, your customers aren't having fun. And if your customers aren't having fun, guess what? They're not coming back. So think of it this way. If you might not enjoy stuff, but you've got to learn to have fun at whatever it is you do. Even more important than that, you know, well, see, where was I? Like, you guys did pretty good at calling out fun compared to, I was in England. I think it was Southampton, down in the south of England. Getting the English to call out anything was tough. Getting them to call out fun, though, was like pulling teeth. They said, you know, fun. Like, no, come on, it's fun, enjoy yourself. And then I remembered 200 years ago they sent all the fun people to Australia, so it ruined England forever. Yes, we were the convicts, that's correct. You know, that's why, see, why do Australians want to have fun in life? You know, it's a very simple thing. We're not in jail today, so it's a good day. I mean, that's the reality for us Aussies. Look, I think of it as a very simple thing, that you've got this one shot at life, why not make it fun? Why not enjoy every single part of it? So my rule here this evening is we've got to have some what? Everybody? Okay, that's getting more like it. Now, by the way, my second goal here this evening, first goal is to have some fun. Second goal is this evening is to give you some education. I'm not a motivational speaker. I hate that term. In fact, I was just doing an interview with a magazine in Canada, and they're like, so you're a motivational speaker? And I'm like, no, I hate that. Because see, if you motivate an idiot, what happens? They do stupid shit faster. Okay? So they end up making more mistakes because now they're motivated to be even more stupid. I mean, that's not the way it works. You got to get education, because once you're educated, once you know what to do, why to do it, and how to do it, amazingly enough, what happens? You get motivated because you know what to do, why to do it, and how to do it. So my goal here is to be your educator this evening. Now, part of education is participation. How many of you remember going to school, you forgot everything because you didn't participate that much, okay? In my seminar, we call stuff out. So I get you to call it out again. What is it? Our first rule is we've got to have what? See, the moment you participate, your brain actually remembers that instance, okay? The brain creates a link, therefore, and if you participate, you actually remember. If you remember, you use it, and if you use it, then there's a pretty good chance you'll actually make more money. So, does that make sense? Every now and again, I'll get you to raise your hand for different questions. So everyone in the room, please just raise your hand, prove there's no broken arms. Come on, the guys in the middle, get them up. There you go, all right. See, the thing is, your brain again gets active, and therefore you're participating, and therefore you're going to learn. So part of education is participation. That also means taking good notes. I gave you a notepad and pen, so you have no excuse to not take notes this evening. If you think I'm talking fast now, wait till I get to the money stuff, okay? I get faster and faster as I get a little more motivated about this stuff. So take notes, call out answers, raise hands. That way your education is much better and much stronger for you here this evening. Third goal here this evening is I'm going to be your coach. See, I'm a business coach, action coach. Now, by the way, when I first started Action Coach, everyone said, well, what's a business coach? Now today, they're like, well, should I have a business coach? Yes, everyone should have a business coach. But I'm going to be your coach here this evening. Now, me being your coach is going to be a lot of fun for one of us in the room. Guess who that one person is? Me. Now, here's the question. Anyone have a personal trainer, like a physical trainer, that sort of thing? You get a personal trainer. If you're already fit, a personal trainer like Michael here looks pretty fit. If he gets a personal trainer, he's going to actually be pretty excited by that because he's already pretty fit and he's just going to get fitter and better. Now, if you're unfit, and I'm not going to point anyone out at all, but if you're unfit and all of a sudden you get a personal trainer, how do the first few months of that training feel? They're awful, aren't they? How come? Because you're not fit. Now, if your business and your finances are not fit, how's tonight going to feel for you? You're going to be sitting there going, oh, this is awful. He's beating me up. I don't know. Why does he keep... Because the fact of the matter is someone needs to be your coach. The reality is of most people is they don't have a good coach, therefore they keep making stupid decisions when it comes to business and money. They don't have the right person in their corner giving them good education. Now, if being your coach means, well, see, let's say we go through tonight and you're sitting there writing down your notes and saying, yeah, not doing that, not doing that, not doing that, not doing that. You're going to feel pretty beat up by the end of the night, yes or no? You should be very excited because that means how much are you going to achieve when you do start using the things that you've got that I'm teaching you here tonight. So, would it be okay if I'm your coach this evening, yes or no? Now, as your coach, by the way, I have permission to beat you up a little bit. Now, part of being your coach also means I'm going to make you make some decisions here tonight. Some of the decisions you got to make are things like, have you actually truly decided to go for wealth? Have you truly committed to your own wealth and your own future when it comes to wealth? Have you truly committed to be a successful business person? Because most people give it a try, they give it a shot, they hope it'll work. But they don't actually truly commit. So I'm going to ask you to make some decisions for your life here this evening. And those decisions are going to impact you going forward. My fourth goal here this evening, I'm an author of lots of books, so what would my goal be, do you think? Get you to buy my books, definitely. And no, not just one of them, all of them. It's 15 of the dang thing. I'm a salesperson. Where are the other salespeople in the room? Hands up, salespeople. Okay, really? Okay, are we all in sales? If you ever been out on a date in your life, is that selling, yes or no? Is it a harder sell for some people than others? Okay, just remember in sales though, what was your conversion rate? Okay, remember that one. Now, some people will pick that up on the way home, won't they? It's like, oh, I get what you mean by that. See, in sales, if you believe in what you're selling, you will sell really well, yes or no? Now, I had a guy say to me the other day, and he's like, but Brad, I don't want to be a pushy salesperson. Why not? Is there something wrong with your product? Something wrong with your service? Because if you don't sell it to them, they've got to buy it from your competitors. And if your competitor's better than you, great, don't sell it to them. But if you're better than your competitors, should you sell it to them, yes or no? Yeah, you got to sell. So before you leave, what should you do? Not a book, all of the books. You guys will get this right at some point during the evening. So, and I'm also going to ask you to, I'm going to give you guys a couple of gifts during the evening to make sure that you actually take use of what I'm going to teach you here tonight, because I want you to actually go away from here not thinking, gee, that was a good seminar. I want you to go away from here with a list of things you're going to do based on what you learned. Okay? It's making you make a change is more important than making you think that was a good seminar. So take your notes, let's participate, and most of all, let's have some what? All right, let's get started with the whole money thing. First subject, where was I? I was teaching a group of college students last year. And they're all focused on getting a job where they can do what? Call it out so you remember it, where they can what? Earn the most. They're focused on earning money. You know, how much money can I earn? I need to get a job where I can earn the most money. And I sat down with them over a couple of hours and I had to teach them what you can earn from your first few jobs is not important. What's important is actually how much you can what? Learn. It's the learning that takes the hardest part. See, where was I? Whenever I meet new people and they say, oh, what do you do? You know how people ask that stupid question, what do you do? I say, well, look, I teach business and I teach about money and I own a lot of companies. They're like, really? You teach about money? Can you teach me to get rich? And what word do they add to the end of that sentence to ruin the sentence? Can you teach me to get rich quick, fast, now, whichever one they want to do? And the reality I tell them is that, look, it takes 10 years to get to be rich. It takes 10 years to do it. And what do you think their answer is? Oh, really? That long? Oh, hang on a sec. Is 10 years faster than never? Yes or no? It's much faster than never. So if you don't have a plan to be rich, you better follow mine because it's faster than yours, okay? And that's the facts. Now, why does it take 10 years to get to be rich? Well, first reason why is you've got to do what? Learn how. Why is your first business the hardest business, do you think? How come your first business is the toughest business? Because you don't know what you're doing. In your first business, you've got to learn business whilst you're building the business. Why is your first $1 million the hardest million? Because you don't know what you're doing. You've got to learn it while doing it. Is that clear for everybody? See, and by the way, which is harder, going to work every day or actually learning how to be rich? You would think learning was harder than going to work. Because most people would rather go to work all day, every day until they're 65, 70, whatever age they have to, than actually sit down and learn how to become rich. The learning work is actually harder work. The learning work, because you've got to change your mind, you've got to change your ideas, you've got to change your thinking, you've got to change your activities. Because if you want to create wealth, if you're not already rich, what does that tell you about what you're doing right now? It's not going to get you rich. Does that make sense? You've got to change a few of the things, the way you think, the way you approach stuff, and this is how we actually build this. So the learning part is the most important. I'll put it to you even more bluntly. If you've only learned to make 100 grand a year, what's the most you can make a year? 100 grand. You can't out-earn your learning. So learning comes first when it comes through to wealth. So I was teaching these college kids this concept. So what did I try and teach them? Go and find a job where you can learn, find a good mentor, find a good, someone you can work for that'll teach you things rather than that. Because here's the simple reality. How long should it take you to learn the subject of money? It shouldn't take you your entire life to learn the subject of money. It should take you a period of a few years in your life, learn the subject of money, master the subject of money. See, I'll tell you my own story. Age 16, I started going to seminars like this, learning about success, learning about money. At age 22, I'd made my first $1 million in my life. Do you think I was a pretty happy boy? 22, made my first million. 22 doesn't impress you, having $1 million? For real? Holy shit, you guys are hard to impress. By 21 you would have been going, yay? Or... What the hell was I trying to teach? Oh, learning. See, here's the interesting thing. By 22, I'd made my first $1 million. I thought I was real good. I thought I was the best. I thought I was a genius. What do you think the universe did? Decided to give me a good lesson. By 22 and a half, I'd lost my first $1.5 million. Yeah, actually losing the money wasn't that bad. You know what was real bad? Having to move back in with mum and dad. My mum, anyone got the told you so mum? My mum's the told you so. Oh yeah, I told you this and I told you. Yeah, thanks mum. Luckily, my dad actually came to the rescue. I sat down one day and I just said to him, Dad, maybe I should just go back and get a job. And he said, over my dead body. You've already made your first million, which means you know how to do it again. So even though I lost the money, I didn't lose the knowledge. Took me to 23 and a half to make it all back, pay all the debts and be on top again. Took me till age 26. At age 26, I financially retired. I never ever had to work again for the rest of my life at 26 years old. Oh, now you're impressed. All right. Damn, I thought it was going to be tough all night there for a second. Actually, 26 and retired is kind of really, I don't know how to put it other than, it was boring. All my friends, where were they? They're at work. All my good friends are at work. I'm thinking, this is great. I'm retired. I don't ever have to work again. I became friends with the only other retired person I knew, Dad. He played golf. Guess what I decided to do? I said, I'll play golf. Now, this is funny. It's not really what I teach, but I'm 26. I'm used to being focused, goal-oriented, going after everything. So I set a goal of getting a single-figure handicap in golf. I was playing 3 rounds of golf a day, 6 days a week. Retirement was not fun, especially because guess how old the average guy I was playing golf with was? Late 60s, early 70s. And it's like they only talk about 2 things. Who died this month? You can laugh, but they do. It's like, and the other thing they talk about, their prostate. I'm 26 going, buddy, what the heck's a prostate? I don't even know what that is. So I lasted 3 whole weeks of retirement. I got to a 9.2 handicap and went straight back to work and on doing things. But it was interesting because I got to go back to work doing what I wanted to do, not having to work to pay the bills. An entirely different level of freedom when you get to work doing what you want. It's like me doing these free seminars. Most of the work I do today around the world is free. I work with the World Bank. I'm their chief advisor on entrepreneurial development worldwide. I go and advise governments around the world on how to bring in more employers, not more employees. See, if there's one thing I know to build an economy, it's don't try and create jobs, try and create people that create jobs. Create employers, entrepreneurs. And that's what I hope to do with some of you here in the room tonight, create more employers, not more employees. So we've got to focus on this learning. Once you've learned it once, you can use it forever. Forever and ever. You've got the knowledge. You know how to do it. So why else does it take 10 years to learn how to be rich? Well, not just to learn how, but actually to become rich takes 10 years for a simple reason. Economically, we follow the same seasons as basically the world does, or as the environment does. And I know you guys down here have one season all year round. It's big summer, little summer, 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 summer. Pretend you knew there was a cycle in the environment, all right? Just pretend you're up in Northern America right now where they're getting snow after snow. Here's the thing. Economically, we have big summers, all right? So up until 2008, did we have a pretty good economic summer? Everything was in boom. What was booming? Real estate was, share market was booming, businesses were booming, which meant government's tax income was booming, everyone was doing good. Now, here's the thing. We had the biggest economic summer that we've seen in our lifetime. For the majority of us in this room, it was the biggest economic boom we have ever seen. Ever going to witness for many of you. Now, here's the question. At the end of that time, did the average person have more debt or less debt at the end of that time? Which one? More debt. The average person was worse off at the end of the biggest economic boom that we'd ever seen. Why does that happen? Because people don't understand money. They just don't get it. Is money a subject you really should learn? Yes or no? Hello, yes or no? If you don't learn the subject of money, what are you going to have to do for the rest of your life? Work. If you don't learn it, you got to work all the time. Now, let's understand this whole summer thing. See, the way this economic cycle works, it's a 7 to 10 year cycle. How long? 7 to 10 years. It's not a 7 to 10 month. It's not this. It's a 7 to 10 year cycle. Do most people have that long a vision in their life? Yes or no? No, most people. See, understand this. Poor people plan Friday night. Rich people plan generations ahead. If you're spending more time planning your weekend than you are your retirement, is there a problem with that? Hello, yes or no? And this is what kills me with people. They're not focused on their wealth, so they're so focused on the weekend of how they can spend what they've got, rather than how can they invest and build a future. See, the money you make is not yours to spend. The money you make is yours to invest to create a future for yourself and your family. That's what a responsible person with money does. Ultimately, when it comes to the subject of money, though, here's a really important point. If you're no good with a small amount of money, what makes you think you'll ever get a large amount of money? If you don't have good money habits with a small amount of money, you will never be blessed with a large amount of money. The universe doesn't trust people who are bad with money with lots of money. Get it? Okay? So this economic thing, here's summer. The way summer works basically is commodities go through a boom. Have we had a commodities boom? Oil, gas, all of these things, coffee, bean, they've all gone through a boom a couple of years back, okay? Now oil and that's come off of that. Once they boom, then businesses start booming. Now has the stock market gone through another boom after that crash, yes or no? And now it's coming to the end of that cycle. How do we know it's the end of that cycle? Once you start seeing massive mergers and acquisitions, big companies buying other big companies, we know that, hey, they're getting rid of all of their cash, the market's going to go. But what happens is all of those people get bonuses and doing real well, so they go and buy a bigger house. So and then the real estate market starts to boom and the houses start going up and everyone starts getting excited. And then the housing market ends, and that's the end of summer, okay? Now, how do we know the housing market is going to end? Two things happen. Number one, banks start offering 100% mortgages. Do you remember when that was happening? Actually, do you remember when they offered more than 100%? They were offering very large mortgages. And then you go through. What's the other way you know it's the end of the real estate boom? Your brother-in-law becomes a real estate developer. Okay, you know, they've got no idea what they're doing, but they're going to develop something. And that's what happens. So summer is here. Now, here's the thing. Did anyone in the room grow up on a farm? Anyone grow up on a farm? Okay, here's the challenge. Not growing up on farms means we don't understand the cycle anymore. Because here's the thing. On the farm, you understand the cycle, and therefore you understand money far better. Ultimately this. In fact, you may even know this saying, though. See if you remember this. Finish it for me if you remember it. Make hay when the sun shines. See, this is the thing. Because people aren't on the farm, they don't understand money from this perspective. See, on the farm, when it's sunny, you harvest all of that hay, you put it in the shed because you know you're going to have to do what? Feed the animals through winter. So at the end of a massive economic boom, should you have a lot of money put aside, yes or no? Yeah, why? Because then we're going to go through fall, okay? Now, did we have a massive economic fall in between 2007 and 2010, yes or no? Massive economic fall. Did the stock markets around the world plunge down? Yes or no? Now, if you're a poor thinker, guess how you will refer to that? You will say that the stock market crashed. That's a poor person's thinking. A rich person's thinking is the stock market went on sale. It had a 75% off sale. Now, when things are on sale, should you buy them, yes or no? See, rich people think about it. The stock market's plummeted. Thank God I had summer because now I've got lots of cash and I'm going to go and buy. Real estate went on sale. I live in Las Vegas. We literally had a buy one, get four free sale. You were buying houses for 20% of what they used to sell for. Is that crazy? And what's crazy about it is that people that don't learn the subject of money get beat up. If you don't learn the subject of money, you will get beat up in fall. If you know the subject of money, you will make a fortune in fall. Because here's the thing, you buy at the end of fall, you buy through winter. See, on the farm, what are you doing in fall? Cutting back, getting rid of the sick and old animals that won't make it through winter. Then we get into the winter time, okay? Boom, we're on the farm. What are we doing? Taking vacation, relaxing, fixing the machinery, getting ready for spring. Now spring has sprung. We're back in the track again. Things are starting to move. Here's why it takes 10 years to get to be rich. Because you've got to be able to make money in the summer and buy in the winter and ride it through the next summer. Does that make sense? If you make it in the summer, we've got a good economic summer around right now. It's coming through. So make plenty of cash, cash it up, get ready for it. When it falls, get in and buy and ride this stuff through. That's how we make money, time after time after time. So if that's the case and it takes 10 years to get to be rich, do you have to have a little bit of patience to be rich? Yes or no? Do you have to actually start making decisions that are better decisions financially? Absolutely. You've got to start looking at it from a perspective of I'm building wealth here. I'm not trying to look rich. I'm actually building real wealth so that I can have all of the things that I want to have. Actually, simple lesson. This here is my DVD of this evening's seminar. Actually, it was recorded in Dublin, Ireland. This is the DVD of the seminar. Who would like this DVD? Let me re-ask the question. Who would like this DVD? Good job. Yolanda, is it? Excellent. Well done. Simple lesson. If you want something, you've got to what? Get up off your chair and go get it. It's amazing how now the front row is sitting there going, oh, crap. Everyone in the front row is going, damn, I sat down here for that exact reason. She's run from halfway through the room, pushed these people out of the way, come on down here. You guys are going to make this fun for me tonight, aren't you? I can see that already. This is good. All right, let's learn. I have a simple formula for success. See, the first part of this evening, I want to teach you more about philosophy, more about the way I think. Because if you don't understand the way I think, you won't do what I teach you to do. You got to think right before you will do right. There's no two ways about it. So, this is my formula for success. It's a 5-step formula. Write it down, then we're going to learn all about it. Dreams times goals times learning times plans times action. Dream, goal, learn, plan, act. Call it out for me so you remember it, everybody. Start with the top. What is it? Dream. Come on, everybody. What's up the top? Dream. Times. Dream, goal, learn, plan, act. It starts with having a dream. If you don't have any dreams, will they all come true? Yes, you don't have any. They're going to come true. Does that make sense? See, if you want to have dreams, actually, how many of you are good at dreaming right now? You've got like a bucket list or a dream chart or a dream journal. Let me see a show of hands. Excellent work. See, life's not that long, folks. You've got to understand this. Life is pretty short. A lifetime, if you do it in weeks, how many weeks is a lifetime? Do the math. Approximately 80 times 50, okay? That's 4,000 weeks is your lifetime. If you don't take care of yourself, you only get 3,000 weeks in a lifetime. Some of you in the room are doing the math right now, aren't you? Holy shit, I've done 2,500. I don't have that many to go. Hurry up, sugars. Let me get out of here. You know, the reality of it is, I think W. Somerset Maugham put it best when he talked about dreams. He said, nothing if not at first a dream. Nothing if not at first a dream. See, I don't know what it is about humans, but at age 5, humans are really great dreamers. Like, you know, anyone got kids? How many of you have kids in the room? Who has kids? Excellent. How many? We have 4 kids. I have 4 children. Anyone got 4 or more? Or are those of you with 4 or more? Excellent work, those people. Rest of you, complete wimps, all of you. Our youngest, we have 2-year-old twins. Oh, yeah, see, that's the exact sound I get everywhere I go. 2-year-old twins, oh, yeah, because twins are not double the work. They're triple the work, guaranteed. It's real interesting having them. But, you know, I guess when you think about this, well, actually, just back to the kid thing just for a second. If your kid comes up to you, 5 years old, and says, hey, Mom, Dad, whatever, I got this dream of doing this and this and this. Do you encourage the kid, yes or no? Yeah, you do. Why is it when kids have a dream, we encourage them, but when adults have a dream, other adults try and talk them out of it? Why is that? What is with people? Who's the person that talked you out of most of your dreams? Yourself. Don't blame anyone else. Do you know that doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will? The fact that you don't even think, yeah, write that down. Doubt kills more dreams than failure. Why? Because the fact that you don't even go for it kills the dream faster than mistakes. And that's crushing. Why would you not go for your dreams? Because you got hit with the reasonable stick. Somewhere between age 15 and 25, people fall into reasonable trap. Oh, no, you got to do stuff that's reasonable. All of the greatest achievements in the world, do you think the people that did them were reasonable or do you think they were unreasonable? Which one? Unreasonable. Do you think it's reasonable for me as a young 20-year-old kid thinking, oh, I could do business coaching all over the world, put Action Coach into 59 countries, have more than 1,000 offices around the world? That's not reasonable. But when you're unreasonable, it's amazing what you can achieve in life. Some of you need to get far more unreasonable. You've accepted this theory in your life that, well, that's about all I'm going to get. That's not true. It's only true if you let it be true. Dreams, you got to dream bigger and have big dreams. What color helicopter do you want to have? You know, people are like, I don't want a helicopter. You haven't ridden in one that often, obviously. You know, and will people try and steal your dreams? Yes, dreams are a perfect form of idiot repellent. Okay, when you tell people your dreams and goals, and you're telling everyone, these are my dreams, these are my goals, and they look at you and go, oh, that can't happen, won't happen, can't possibly happen. You know what you need to do? Next, go away. I don't need to see you ever again. Now, if you're related to them, you might have to see them again, or married to them, yeah, you're probably going to have to see them again, but, you know. The point of it is, gang, unless you define your dreams and goals. My wife and I just added a new one. We were on a vacation in Mexico last week, and she was watching this TV show about up in where, I forget which country it was. She wrote it down, but they build these ice hotels, and you can watch the northern lights from an ice hotel. And I was like, that would be one of the most fun things to do. And my wife's like, you're going to enjoy that, aren't you? I said, honey, you know what? I'm going to love doing that. She said, what are you going to enjoy about it most? And now, being Australian, I was like, honey, you know what I'm going to actually enjoy? Not having to put the beer in the fridge. Did you put the beer away? Yep, left it on the floor. It's going to be chilled perfect, you know? So you've got to think about what are your dreams and what are your goals and stuff, because unless you allow yourself to dream, who's going to let you? No one's going to let you unless you do. Start dreaming and dream bigger. I still remember at 16 years of age, I went to a seminar with a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn, E. James Rohn. And after that seminar, I decided that I was going to retire at age 25. That was my decision. I was setting a goal, retire at age 25. I told my buddy Leon. Leon told his dad. Leon's dad decided he took it upon himself to sit the two of us down and explain to us why that wasn't possible, wasn't going to happen, definitely couldn't happen, never happens for anybody. Every time I bought a new car, I went and visited Leon's dad. Pull up in the driveway. I remember actually my first ever Ferrari. It was the F355 Formula One. And I pulled up in the driveway and it's got this amazing sound to it, like a Formula One race car note out of the exhaust of this thing. Pull up in the driveway and I'm revving the engine and he comes out and he looks at me and he goes, you know you don't have to keep showing me these. Like, yeah, but I kind of enjoy it. I remember when I bought my first jet, little Citation CJ3, and thought, how the shit do I land this on Pompadour Street? Yeah, land this and pull it up in front of the house. That'd be great. Sometimes the motivation doesn't have to be the biggest positive motivator in the world. Sometimes the simplest motivation is, up yours, buddy, I did it. You know, you might not think I could, but I went and did it. So once you've got your dreams, now, do you need to put them down on paper, yes or no? You know, by the way, as I look around the room, some of you only got like 500 weeks left. You need to put your dreams down on paper right away. Don't laugh. What are you laughing about? They don't have that long. Let them get their dreams down now. Now, once you got your dreams written down, dreams are like 10 to 20 years out, okay? 10 to 20 years out, what are your dreams? Put them down on paper, make sure you have them. Then you've got to turn them into goals. Goals is anything inside 5 years, okay? If it's inside 5 years, now you've got to actually make it a goal. You've got to have a time frame and a number, a measure, that sort of thing. Set an actual written goal for what you do. Now, don't just have business goals. Have personal goals, fitness goals, family goals. Have goals in all areas of life, okay? Too many people only have business goals and therefore their life ends up being only business and they don't have a life outside of business. Second reason why we need goals. In fact, write this down, very simple thing. If you don't know where you want to be in 5 years, you're already there. Think about that. If you don't know where you're going in 5 years' time, you're already there. You're just going to be a little bit older, a little bit less fit. It's not going to be any different. You've got to set the goals if you want your life to change. It's not going to change without you writing goals. It just won't. So third reason we want to set goals is so that then we know what we have to go and learn. If I write a new goal, it's obviously something I've never done before, so therefore I have to go and learn how to do it. Too many people write their goals and they go, oh, I've written down my goals, let's see if they happen. Not unless you go learn how. Let's say you set a goal tomorrow. All right, who's down the front here? All right, let's say Gerald. Gerald set a goal tomorrow of running a marathon in a year's time. Would he need to go and buy some books on how to run a marathon, watch some videos, get a trainer, do some practice, do all that? Yes or no? So this is the thing. If you set a new goal, you got to do new learning. If you set a goal to double your sales, what do you got to go and do? Read a half a dozen books on how to double your sales. It doesn't happen without the learning. And yet people just magically think, oh, I've set a goal, it's going to happen. In fact, they all read that stupid book, The Secret. That's the dumbest book ever. For those that haven't read it, it said if you sit on a hill and think positive thoughts, everything shows up in your life. Bullshit. If you don't do some work, it's not going to happen. Crazy people write stupid books like this. Dreams, goals, learning. Now, from the learning, once you've done new learning of how to do the thing, then you write everyone. See, you all love planning. Who loves planning? Liars. Nobody likes planning. But no, it's like, but you have to do it. It's like, I don't love packing the dishes in the dishwasher either, but I gotta do that stuff. Actually, there is one type of human being that loves planning. Guess what type of human being loves planning? A bride. Someone getting married, they love planning. And it's like, and that's the stupidest thing in the world. They spend weeks, months, years planning one day of their life, and it's like, woo! But here's the stupid part of it. How many minutes do they spend planning the marriage? Oh, that just smacked some people upside the head, didn't it? See, is planning necessary, yes or no? In fact, would you get on a plane tomorrow if the pilot didn't have a flight plan? No, why not? You want to live. How often do you want a pilot to achieve their outcome? What percentage of the time? 100%, okay? So if you want them to achieve their goal 100% of the time, they've got to have a plan. What percent of the time? 100% of the time. If you want your business to achieve your goals, you've got to have a plan 100% of the time. Those without a business plan, it's like, hang on, we all know the old saying, failing to plan is planning to fail. It's not that hard. But we sit down and we start thinking about putting plans together, and if you don't do new learning, what's your plan going to say? Do more of the same stuff I was doing before. Okay, so you've got to do the new learning, so you write a proper plan about where you want to go and what you want to achieve and all that sort of stuff. In fact, I had a gentleman the other week, he said to me, Brad, my staff don't do their job properly all the time. I said, really? They don't do their job properly? Show me the checklist they're supposed to follow. He said, oh, we don't have any checklists. I said, duh. You don't got checklists, how can you start? And checklist is the simplest, easiest form of planning there is. In fact, even easier. How many of you at the end of every single day write a list of the things you got to do the next day? Who does that in the room? 10% of people, 20% of people. So 80% of you are not getting productive enough in your business and in your work. If you want to have a good day tomorrow, you should write a list today of everything you need to achieve tomorrow. How do we know this works? Think about the last time you were going on a holiday. Last time you were on vacation, what did you do the day before you went on vacation? Wrote a list of all the stuff you had to get done before you went on vacation, and you did 10 times more stuff that day than you do every other day of the year. Dreams, goals, learn, plan, and then go to work. But it's no use going to work if you don't have your dreams, goals, learning, and planning all done. So give yourself a score out of 10 for each of these areas here. What's your current score out of 10? Write it down. What's your score? Now, if you don't have your dreams and goals written down, you can't give yourself much more than like a 1 or a 2. If you don't have a plan, you can't give yourself much more than a 1 or a 2 if it's not written. So you sit down and you look at your life on those scores indicate where you're at in your life right now. So your job is to do what? Build these scores. Get bigger dreams, better dreams. Write them down. Get pictures of them. Set better goals in all areas of life. Do more learning. Get better planning. And then work better. That's the way the formula for success works. Because all of those things equals your success. It's the formula to create success in your life. Time for questions at the end. So we got to get to money. In case you hadn't noticed, I talk fast because I got a ton to cover. Subject to money. Let's take a look at it. There's 2 phases to money. Phase 1 of money in our life, where 100% of your money comes from phase 1, and that is when you make money. What do? Everybody call it out. You make money. Come on, everybody. What is it? So if you don't work, you don't make money. Now, here's the challenge with this. Most people think that their job is to make enough money to pay the bills. That thinking is poor thinking. Rich thinking says, I've got to make enough money to pay the bills and have excess money left over to invest. Does that make sense? Hello, yes or no? Guy says to me the other day, but Brad, I don't make enough money to invest. Then make more. He says to me, but Brad, they don't pay any more for what I do. Then do something else. Not complex. If you're not making enough to have any to invest, you need to do one of 2 things. Either reduce your spending or increase your income. Are there people here in your country making more than $1 million a year? Yes or no? Hello, yes or no? So if they can do it, can you learn to do it? Yes? Simple. But you've got to learn how to make more. You've got to learn that factor. And then as you learn to make it, you start investing it. You start putting it over here. And you get to phase 2, which is manage your money. So make is first. What's second? Come on, everybody. I've already learned this stuff. I don't need to call it out. Phase 1 is make. Phase 2 is? Thank you. So here we are. We got to make, we got to manage. You got to make, you got to manage. Are there a lot of things you've got to learn how to make more money? Yes or no? If you're a business owner, there's a bunch of things. If you're in a job, you've got even more things to learn because you're an apprentice business owner. But gradually, as you make more and you start investing that money, eventually your life should go this way, where over time you're making this much, but you're getting money coming from managing the money you already have. And then eventually, towards the end, where you can retire, is when you have 100% of your money coming from managing the money you already made. Does that make sense? So that's the goal. But in fact, I'll give you my numbers currently. My wife and I, we live off of 9% of what we make. So you know how they teach you that you got to invest 10% of what you make? You all read those books? Yes or no? Throw those books out. They are incorrect. If you want to actually go for Billionaire or at least Center or Deca Millionaire, you've got to invest a lot more than that. See, I love teaching this stuff to kids because kids get it faster than adults do. Adults try and go into all this logic about it, but kids just get it. My kids literally so Kobe and Kenzie, Kobe's now 14, Kenzie is 12. Since the age of 2, they have gone to the bank every single Thursday of their life and deposited 50% of their pocket money for the week. So every dollar they make, they must invest what percentage in my household? 50% of what they make. Now, people say, but Brad, I can't live off of 50% of what I make. And I say, make more. Can you work part-time and get another job? Yes, you can. Good, go do that. Make more. So you've got some to invest because you need to invest to build your future. If you don't have investment capital, it's hard to build your future. Are there seminars where they can say, you can buy things for no money down? Absolutely there are. And that's really great, but it doesn't work. You've got to have capital to make capital. Okay, simple fact. So, in fact, I'll tell you how good my kids are. Kenzie, when she was 5 years old, I love teaching this stuff to kids. 5 years old, at their school, the teacher's teaching all the kids about money. Now, I think that's quite hilarious that someone on 35 grand a year is trying to teach my kids about money, but, you know, that's an aside point. She's saying to the kids, what do you do with money? What do you think all the kids are saying? Spend it. You buy candy, you go and buy McDonald's, you go to the movies, you buy toys, spend it. Kenzie raises her hand, age 5. Teacher was very proud when she called me and told me about this. She said, no, miss, that's not what you do with money. Well, what do you do with money, Kenzie? You invest it, then you get more. Rule in my house, if they don't go to the bank and invest 50% of their pocket money, next week there's no pocket money. Did you invest your money? Yes? Show me in your bank book. Good. You get your pocket money this week. Didn't invest, don't get any money this week. See, I'm trying to teach them the habit. The habit is more important than the amount. Do you understand that? The habit is more important than the amount. The habit of investing every single week is more important than the amount you invest every single week. I don't care if you start with $5, $50, $200, I don't care the amount. But when you build the habit, you are showing respect for money. And when you show respect for money, guess what? You start getting blessed with more money. Show respect for it and you'll get more. But here's the interesting thing. If you keep investing, now I've been investing for more than 20 years. I'm 44 today, so 19 was when I first started investing. So at 44 is at 25 years of investing. After 25 years of investing, my wife and I currently live off of 87%. So 87% of our income comes from managing money we already make. Now, I don't have to work. I don't have to buy more companies. I could stop buying more companies tomorrow, stop doing new deals tomorrow, and I would still live off of basically that 87%. So, and that's not because we're poor or we don't spend any money. We spend a ton of money. Okay, not to brag or anything, but we live in like a 33,000 square foot home in Las Vegas. We got cars galore. We got homes in Australia. We got everything. I don't tell you that to impress you, but for you to understand that if you start investing, see, I didn't pay for that massive house by making money. I paid for that massive house by managing money. You need to understand the management of money is just as or more important than the making of it. But if you're only making enough to pay the bills, have you got to learn to make more? Hello, yes or no? Yes. And why is it then, and this is a real one that kills a lot of people, why is it when someone gets a pay rise, the first thing they do is do what? Expense rise. If you get a pay rise, you should have an investment rise. Invest more of that money. Invest it, and then you build it and you start managing that money. And that's how wealth is actually created. Wealth isn't created by making more and just income. Yeah, there's plenty of people out there that are income rich. They're like the Friday night rich guy. You know that guy who gets his paycheck, blows it all on Friday night, looks rich on Friday night, and then he's eating noodles all week. You know? Don't be that type of person. Invest and build real wealth. Don't look rich, be rich. Big difference between the two. So now I got to teach you the principle behind wealth. This one key principle is the one you have to understand most to succeed in business and wealth. This philosophy is more important than any other business philosophy or wealth philosophy. It's called leverage. What's it called? Leverage. Come on, with some passion. What's it called? Leverage. You guys are going to be Australian for the rest of the night, aren't you? You're going to call out with real passion. You're going to get real excited by things. By the way, this is my DVD of this evening's event. I recorded this in Dublin, Ireland. Second lesson. You don't just have to get up, sometimes you got to hustle. Third lesson, sometimes you got to fight other people for the damn things. This is the first book I ever wrote called Instant Cash Flow. Next lesson, sometimes the answer's no. But that doesn't stop you from asking. It's still no. Let's get back to this thing called leverage for a second. Leverage by mathematical formula is divide to multiply, divide to multiply. So you divide something up, you multiply the end result. Henry Ford got that correct with the production line. He divided the production up, multiplied the output of the motor car. Ray Kroc got it right when he used franchising for McDonald's. He divided the business up, sold franchises, multiplied the end result. Now, when I teach people that, they kind of get it, but they don't use it. So what I want to do is teach it to you in a way where you're actually going to use this information. So I have a simple formula. Do the work once, get paid forever. What's my formula? Everyone read it out for me. Do the work, get paid, work once, paid forever. Now, most of you went to school or college and you got taught the exact opposite of this. You got taught how to work once and get paid only Once. Like, I'll give you an example. A friend of my wife loves getting me to help her friends. And so this gal, we're at a party, and she's like, go talk to Brad. He can help you. She's got a hairdressing salon. I'm like, okay, well, what seems to be the problem? She said, Brad, it just doesn't seem fair. I'm the owner, and some weeks I have to, I don't make any more money than my staff. In fact, some weeks I have to pay them more than I make. It just doesn't seem fair. I said, oh, really? Let me ask you a question. What do your staff do all day? She said, well, they cut hair. I said, what do you do all day? She said, I cut hair. I said, good, you should make the same amount of money. She didn't understand leverage. See, if you're doing employee work in your business, should you be paid the same as an employee in your business? Yes or no? If you want to get paid owner's money, you got to do owner's work, leveraged work. Owner's work means you get paid back long-term or forever. So I'll use this book as an example. Don't run at me, okay? I wrote this book 16 years ago. Not a trick question. How many times did I have to write the book? How long will I make money off of the book? Is that a good thing? You don't seem too happy for me. I mean, so far I've sold 518,000 copies of this book. So is that work I did paying me back pretty well? Yes or no? In fact, here's the deal. Every 3.5 minutes, somewhere on the planet, someone buys one of my books. Which means I go to bed at night and wake up with more money than I went to bed with. See, you know you're rich when you make money while you're asleep. If you're not making money when you're sleeping, not rich yet. In fact, this is my book on real estate investing. Why do I love real estate? Very simple. First house I ever bought. It's 17A Jenkinson Street, Indooroopilly, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Paid $298,000 for that house when I was 19 years of age. Currently, I'm 44. Here's the question. How many times did I have to buy that house? Not a trick question, is it? Bought it once, getting paid. It's currently worth $2.3 million. It's fully paid off. I collect the rent every single month. Do you think I like the first day of the month in my life? What gets paid to me on the first day of the month in now 8 countries around the world where I own buildings and houses? Rent. And the best part is being Australian, see, the first day of the month starts in Australia a day early. I get the first day of the month for 2 full days. It's celebration in our house. See, think about it this way. In fact, for the business owners in the room, let's do it this way. What jobs can you do that pay you back long term? See, employee work is work once, paid once, the hairdresser cutting hair type thing, okay? What work pays you back longer term that is owner's work, not employee's work? Is planning owner's work, yes or no? Hello, yes or no? Pays you back long term. What else is owner's work? What's going to pay you back long term? Think about this for a second. Training staff, hiring new staff will pay you back long term. What else pays you back long term? Marketing does, sales does, systemization does. Anything where you get customers. So, in fact, add to your definition, work once, get paid forever, or at least long term. At least long term. That's owner's work. Here's the problem with this whole thing. When I was writing the books or when I was buying those houses, how much was I paid per hour to write the books? $0 an hour. See, most things that make you rich pay you $0 an hour. Most things that make you rich don't pay you an hourly rate. If you're getting paid an hourly rate, pretty good chance it's not making you rich. When I was young, I worked this out. I would go to work during the day paying the bills. I worked all day, every day to pay the bills. I would work mornings, nights, and weekends writing books and making investments, doing things that made me wealthy. It's a big difference between the two. There's paying the bills work, and there's making me rich work. Have we got to do both in the beginning, yes or no? Yeah, in the beginning, you still got to pay the bills. Still got to do some employee work in your business. But gradually you get to a point where you build a business that works so you don't have to. See, if you have to work there, it's not a business. It's just a job. In fact, where are all the business owners again in the room? Hands up, just let me see all the business owners. In fact, please stand. All the business owners, please stand for a second. Up you get. All the business owners, please stand. Come on, there's more of you than that. I saw the hands go up. Up you get in the middle. I got you. We are going to put you through the Brad Sugars test as to whether you actually own a real business or not. If you fail any part of the test, you get to sit back down, okay? Test starts out, don't sit down yet, at least wait till you fail one part. Test starts out Monday morning. You call your business, and one of your employees answers the phone. So a real live person that you employ answers the phone. So if it's just you and your business right now, what should you do? Sit down. Okay, you don't have a business yet. You got a job. You just work for yourself, all right? Difference. You say to that person on the other end of the phone, "Hi, it's me. I'm going away." Yes, that means some of you need to start sitting already. If you can't say you're going away. They say, "When are you going away?" Your answer is, "Right now, today. I've just finished packing." How long are you going away for? 6 months. Can we reach you? No, I won't have phone or email where I'm going. How many we got still standing? Who's still standing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Give them a round of applause. Congratulations. Congratulations. See, they have built a business that works so they don't have to. Ultimately, the goal, write this down. This is my definition of a business. Business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without me. If you didn't get it down, don't panic. It's in the books. You're buying them later. Yes, Walter up the back has all the books. Go and take your books and go and get them from Walter. So here's the thing. Actually, let me tell you a story. Mackenzie, my second eldest, wonderful young kid. Great with charity work. This kid does more charity work than any other kid I know. Here's a real interesting lesson about kids. You can't spoil them with things or money. You can only spoil them with bad attitudes. Okay, if you give them bad values and bad attitudes, you spoil the kid. So Kenzie, she loves the finer things in life. Great kid, does all the charity work, but loves the finer things. Like when she's like, "Dad, can you pick me up from school today?" "Absolutely, kid, I'll come pick you up." She said, "Dad, can you pick me up in the Lamborghini?" That's Kenzie. She loves that stuff. Good on you, kid. We're going out for dinner, and we're going to our restaurant. And we come up to the front, and there's a new girl working on the hostess stand. And I say, "Yeah, reservation for Sugars." She takes us to the table. We sit down, and Kenzie's like, "Hey, Dad, I don't think that girl knows that you, own the place." I said, "I know, kid. Isn't that great? That means I'm successful. The business runs without me here." She said, No, Dad. We're rich. People should know that." I'm like, whoa, kid. First things first. I'm rich. You're poor. All right? Let's get that clear. Kid don't got no money. Just because Dad got money doesn't mean the kid's got money. Kid's poor. She got to learn that lesson. I tell my kids, till 21, you're on Dad's dime. After that, you fly whatever airline you can afford. But Dad's jet is off limits. Done. No, but can't we come on vacation with you? Yeah, you can come on vacation with me, but, you might have to fly there on your own dime. Give them a taste for good things, not give them good things. Interesting theory. But see, what Kenzie didn't understand, what I had to explain to her, is that success in business doesn't mean that I have to be there every day. Success in business means that I never have to be there. My company, Action Coach, literally, 1,000 offices in 59 countries. I work 1 hour a quarter running that business. 1 hour every quarter, I speak to my CEO. I haven't run that business for 14 years. Do you think I still get paid every single month from that business? Yes or no? Yes. Is that a good thing? Yes. You're still not that excited for me. By the end of the night, I'm going to get you guys excited for me somehow, some way, somewhere. It's like, all right. So leverage. Ultimately, we got to do the work once, get paid long-term or forever. That is the key to wealth. So every day, think about the work you're doing from a perspective of, is this paying me back long-term or is this paying me back immediately? If it's paying you back immediately, okay, that's pay the bills work. If it's paying you back long-term, great, that's wealth building work. And we want to do more and more wealth building work and less pay the bills work. Make sense? Hello, everyone got it? Okay, so here's the next question for you. Simple question, but it's one that has to be asked. Can you learn to be rich? Can you learn it? Yes or no? Okay, and this is an important question because here's the thing. If you can learn something, it means you can do it. Here's the problem with most people. They set the goal of being rich, but then they don't determine that they have to actually learn how. If you can learn this thing, you can actually do it. Now, I try to make it as simple as possible. Albert Einstein had one of his greatest quotes was, if you can't teach it simply, you don't understand it well enough. My job here tonight is to make wealth very simple for you to understand how wealth happens. But your job is to learn how to be rich. That's your job. So as you learn it and learn it and learn it, do you think you're going to learn all of it here tonight? No. What did I tell you at the beginning? It takes up to 10 years because you've got to learn it, apply it. Learn it, apply it. Learn it, apply it. As you learn how to be rich, guess what starts happening? You start getting rich. Simple thing. So I ask you all the question again, and I want you to verbally answer this because I want your brain to hear your decision. I want your brain to feel your decision. I want you to see yourself making a decision. Can you learn to be rich? Yes. Excellent, because if you can learn it, then you can achieve it. On to the next lessons. 2 ladders we have to climb in wealth. The first is cash flow. The second is capital. First one is what? Second one is what? Cash flow and capital. Cash flow and capital. Get them right in order, though. Cash flow is important to do first. Capital is important to do second. Here's why. If the economy takes a turn for the negative and you are asset rich but cash poor, where do you end up? Worse off than everybody else. Okay? You want to have, and this, by the way, doesn't say cash. It says what? Cash flow. So cash flow is our first lesson that we have to understand. And we have to understand how to climb the cash flow ladder. We all start down the bottom here with what's called active income. What's it called? What's that mean? You got to work. If you don't show up, you don't get paid. Now, even if you are the highest paid doctor in the country, to get paid tomorrow, you've still got to do what? Still got to show up. You still got to do active income. So you can increase your active income. You can get more and more active income, a higher hourly rate. But active income still means you've got to go to work. It doesn't matter how much work you do, still got to show up. So our goal is to move up to the next level. There were 5 people here in the room that have already moved to that next level. Okay? Oh, 6 if you include me. So they've moved up to the level called passive income. What's it called? That means income that comes in whether you get out of bed or not. Those 5 people that were still standing, you all saw them. See, here's an interesting question. What's the number one way to get passive income on the planet? What's the number one methodology? What do you think it is? Real estate? No. In fact, let me clear this one up just first and foremost. Real estate. Real estate is not about passive income. Anyone that teaches you that does not understand real estate. Real estate has rental income. The only job of the rent is to pay the mortgage. The tenant doesn't pay the rent. The tenant pays your mortgage. That is their job. It is not about passive income. It's about them paying the mortgage for you. Understand that. We'll get to more on that later tonight, but you've got to get that through. If you understand that, you understand more about real estate than anybody. See, passive income, if I buy a piece of real estate, if I buy a $100,000 home, my rental income is very, very small, like, maybe $4 or $5 grand a year type thing. If I buy a $100,000 business, I'm expecting to make 50, 60, 100 grand off of that business per year. Is that clear for everybody? Okay, so there's more cash flow. Now, do you have to learn a bunch to get your business to work so you don't have to? Yes or no? Yeah, many of you got to learn a whole bunch. There's 5 people in the room here that'll teach you how to do that sort of stuff. Or my coaches, or read my books, whatever. But you've got to learn how to get it so that the business works so you don't have to. Once you get it to that point, you have passive income. Now, what is the advantage of passive income? It means you have bought back your time. Now you get to go out and do much better deals, much bigger deals, because you're not working all day every day to pay the bills. The bills are now covered by passive income. Now you get to go out and do bigger deals, so you create massive income. What's it called? Massive income. Do the hard work to build up enough. Build it so it works without you. Then once you've got it working without you, you now go and get to participate in much bigger and better deals and create much larger income sources for yourself. As you play the game, it gets bigger and better and bigger and better. Then we've got to take a look at the capital ladder. Now, the capital ladder is where we start investing this money we're making. Will we need to invest some of this money into other deals? Yes or no? Yeah, if you're making enough, you need to invest. Now, starting investing, we start at the bottom because we don't know what we're doing. It's called retail investing. What's it called? Come on, everybody. What's it called? Retail investing. Now, what does that mean? It means you're basically buying an investment and you're paying full price for it. When you buy something retail, who makes a profit on that? The person selling it or the person buying it? Seller makes a profit when you're buying it retail, okay? So, for example, if you were investing in a house and you were paying it retail, you would pay approximately full price for that because you don't know how to negotiate them down, you don't have the money to buy it in bulk, you don't know the skill sets, so you don't know what to... Does that make sense? If you don't know what you're doing, you will pay retail. Now, is retail investing still better than no investing at all? Hello, yes or no? Yeah, much better than no investing at all. It's what the average person does. Now, some people, unfortunately, they do higher than retail. What does that mean? They'll go and invest in, say, a mutual fund or something. So they'll put their money into a managed fund. Now, not only am I paying retail to buy the shares, but I'm paying someone a fee to pay retail for me. That doesn't make much sense. So we've got to learn as money managers, because you're going to learn not just how to make, you're going to learn how to manage. You're going to learn how to step up to level 2, which is called wholesale investing. What's it called? So what's wholesale mean? Well, if retail, the seller makes a profit on day one. When you're buying wholesale, who makes the profit on day one? The buyer makes a profit on day one. Okay? Let me give you an example. In fact, first of all, let me classify it. There are 3 classifications of investments, and only 3. For something to be an investment, it must have capital gain and cash flow. So there are only 3. Write them down in this order. Number 1, business. What's number 1? Number 2 is real estate, and number 3 is shares. So it's business, real estate, shares. That is the order that we want to learn these things in. Now, why that order? Well, it's important to understand why that order is important. Business. Business is the highest returning class of investment on the planet. How do we know this? Well, very simply put, the biggest investors on the planet, what do we call them? Venture capitalists. Venture capitalists, what do they invest in? Not shares, not real estate, but businesses. Let's use one of the best examples, Mr. Warren Buffett. Mr. Buffett is one of the richest people on the planet for one reason. He goes and buys a company. He buys the whole company, turns it around, therefore it's worth a whole lot more. Why is it worth a whole lot more? This is a really important point to understand. What determines the value of a business? How do you determine what it's worth? It's profit. Does that make sense to everybody? Whatever the profit is determines how much the business is worth. So here's the question. If you found a business that was run okay or all right, but not badly, but run okay, could you go in there if you know a few things and actually make more profit? Yes or no? Is there a chance you could find businesses where you can double, triple, quadruple, 10 times, 20 times increase profit? Is that a possibility? Yes or no? So if you increase, let's just do a simple one. If you doubled the profit of a business you bought, what did you just do to the value of the business? You just doubled it. Does that make sense to everybody? So I don't even have to, I'll give you the very basic example. The alcohol business, the home-delivered alcohol business I just bought in London. Literally, that company, now I've taken it to a stage where we've gone to round one investment funding. So I bought it for hundreds of thousands. I take it to round one funding. We got £2 million in for 10% of the company. That means the company's valued at how much? £20 million. Can you all of a sudden see how much money I just made on a very, very easy deal? Yes or no? Okay, either you guys are stunned or you're like, give me some of that. You know, it's like, the point of it is, it's the value of the business that increases because you've increased the profitability. So why we do businesses first is you can increase the value of your investment by just fixing the business. Okay, and so the second one is real estate. In real estate, if we buy a house that's a little run down, needs paint, needs a new garden, needs, the kitchen fixed and all that stuff, can we buy that house, clean it up, fix it up, and increase its value? Yes or no? Can we double its value? No. No, you can't. I know those late night TV shows show you can. Maybe 1 in a million you will, but the majority of the time, you will go about 10 to 30% increase. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll get about a 10% increase by cleaning it up and fixing it up. If you know what you're doing, you'll get about a 30% increase by cleaning it up and fixing it up. Does that make sense? Okay. Will there be a rare occasion people double it? Yes or no? Will all those TV shows late at night show you that they doubled it even though no one actually bought it for that much? Amazingly, they did. So business, we can double it. In fact, we can do a lot more than double it. Real estate, because there's an intrinsic value in the land and the size and shape of the building, usually you'll only increase it by about 20 to 30%. Shares, you go and buy shares tomorrow in any company. I'm an Apple shareholder. If you go and buy some shares in Apple tomorrow, what can you do to fix Apple? Nothing. You can't increase its share value. You're betting that the management team will increase its value. Does that make sense? Okay? So business first, real estate, then shares. Does business have advantages over real estate? Yes or no? Yeah, much more cash flow, faster to build, all that increased capital value. What's real estate's advantage? See, business takes time. You buy a piece of real estate, once you own it, you can just set it and forget it. You don't ever have to do a thing with it for the rest of the time. Does that make sense? Who's going to lend you money to buy the house? Are the banks going to lend you money to buy the house? Yes or no? A percentage of the house you're going to be able to pay for because the bank will lend you that money. Very simple. In business, do the banks lend you money to buy businesses? No. Who lends you money to buy businesses? Oh, you guys don't know this one. Okay. The current owner, in most cases, will lend you the money to buy their business from them. It's called owner finance or vendor finance. It's a very simple strategy. Once you learn that strategy, like I just had one of my students in Australia, his name Trent. Trent down in Melbourne, Australia. He bought a chicken farm. So there's chicken. He didn't actually buy the farm. He just bought the business, the chicken business on the farm. The guy that owned it, 80-something years old, wanting to be fully retired, didn't want to run the chicken business anymore. It was making $500,000 a year in profit. Trent went in and met with this guy. He wanted out of running it day to day. Trent said, I'd love to buy it. He said, well, what price? And they discussed price. They ended up saying, we'll set the price at $500,000. Trent said, look, I don't have $500,000. The guy said, I really like you. I trust you. I'm going to lend you the money so you can pay me no money up front and $250,000 a year for 2 years. Do you think that's something you want to learn? Yes or no? Yes, that strategy is a very powerful strategy when someone lends you the money to buy their business from them. Shares. Do shares have advantages over real estate and over business? Yes, you can cash them out far faster than you can with real estate and with business. So each one of these needs to be in your portfolio and balance your portfolio out, in my opinion. Okay? So, that being said, wholesale. Actually, let me give you an example. Okay, business. This couple, I love this young couple, Eddie and Evelyn Wilfling. He used to work, they became pretty famous in Australia because they did a TV show following them about buying their first business, okay? He used to work for Yellow Pages, she worked at the bank, and they were buying their first business. And they brought me in to coach them and show them how to do it and what they should do and how they should do it and all that sort of stuff. Well, long story short, we went through, they were evaluating businesses. Now, I taught them how to evaluate a business, what to look for, what you shouldn't buy, what you should buy, how to value the business, how to actually do your due diligence, which means check out that what the owner is telling you is actually true. Okay, so they went through all that process. The business they bought, it was the 27th business they looked at was the one they bought. It was a noodle bar restaurant type thing. So all Asian food in boxes, and they home delivered it, or you ate it there, or, or came in and picked it up and took it home, whichever way. It was advertised for sale for $97,000. Now, if you were a retail investor, what would you have paid for that business? About $97,000. Does that make sense? Okay, Eddie knew what to do. He negotiated well. He placed his offer real well. He went through the whole process of buying the business. He didn't buy it at retail. He bought it at wholesale. Have a guess what he got it for. Call out a number. What do you think? 60, 40, 50, 3,000 in cash. Yeah, 3, not 30, 3,000 in cash. Do you think there's a chance there's some people out there in business that want to get out of their business so much they're willing to take a loss and sell it to you at a loss just to get out of it? Yes or no? Some of you have been that person some days. Okay? So when they bought that, that was at wholesale. Another one, Mark and Sharon, this young couple, they had fun. Actually, they bought a cafe, and I could spend hours on this one. But long story short, the couple that bought it, that owned it, had paid $138,000 for this thing. Now, they'd never worked together in their life. They were newly married, and they'd never owned their own business. They paid $138,000 to buy this coffee shop. They worked together for 18 months in this coffee shop. They wanted to kill each other. They were getting a divorce, hated each other, wanted out of the business, and wanted out so bad that guess what? They took a loss to get out. Mark and Sharon bought it for $5,000 cash. Are there deals like this all the time? Yeah, but they don't advertise, hey, I'm willing to take $3,000 for my business. They advertise it for $97,000. You've got to learn what to look for, how to negotiate, and how to get them to the price that it's really worth. Does that make sense? Okay, these deals will happen. Wholesale, real estate. I remember my first ever wholesale real estate deal because everywhere I go, I look for real estate. No matter where I am, I go and visit realtor offices and go and talk to them. What's the price? Where's it at? What's happening? In fact, literally, if I'm driving down the street and there's a for sale sign, I will pull over and call and find out what's going on. My kids are now used to it. My wife is used to it. They used to complain, Dad, what are you stopping for? Well, I'm seeing if this is a good deal or not. Now my kids actually call for me. It's good. Kenzie's 12. She makes the phone calls, starts asking the questions. Kobe loves shares. She doesn't love real estate as much. She's actually one of the best share traders you'll ever come across. At 14 years of age, the app used most on her phone is her E-Trade app, trading shares. She got caught at school using her phone during the middle of the day, and the teachers came in and told me, we had to take your kid's phone off you. I said to the kid, what were you doing on your phone? Dad, I had to make a share trade. The shares were going down. I had to get on and make a trade. I'm like, it's all right that you used your phone, kid. That's fine, Certain things are good values, Yep, you were taking care of your wealth. Good job, kid. But actually, I remember when I was very young and I was going out on a date, and I've done this for years and years. I'm going out on a date with this young girl, and I'm driving to dinner. I picked her up, driving to dinner, and there's a for sale sign. So I pull over and I start calling about this house and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm calling to see if this is a good deal or not. And she's like at me, and she's like, look, we're going to be late for dinner. Forget about that. Let's just go to dinner. I went, no, we're not going to dinner. I'm dropping you home because you don't get it. There's no date happening with someone that thinks that getting to dinner is more important than building wealth. You think getting to dinner on time is more important than me finding out if that's a good deal? You're out of here. My wife, on the other hand, one of the things that when we first met, I'm like, I don't know about you, but when I first meet someone, I like to play 20 questions, ask them about themselves, what do they do? And one of the questions I always ask is, what is it that you collect? And she says, I collect Monopoly board games. I have them from all of these countries around the world. Every country I go to, I collect another Monopoly board game. I'm like, I think you and me are going to get along just fine. It's the way it is. But this first deal, the first ever wholesale deal I did. I was driving out and I pulled into this realtor, and I always ask every real estate agent, I pull into their office, I ask them simple questions, what's happening, how's the market, is it moving, is it up, is it down, what's rent doing, is it up, is it down, what are you renting most, what's selling most, what isn't selling, etc. But one question I always ask, is there anyone that you have a house for sale listed with that needs cash now? Every single time, they'll always answer it with, well, there's this one person. In this particular case, there's this one guy, a developer. He developed 13 apartments in this complex. He's sold 6 of them. He's got 7 to sell, and he needs cash now. I said, fantastic. How much has he been selling them for? It was between 135 and 138. I said, fantastic. He's got 7 left. Show me all the deal. Fantastic. Offer him 90 grand each for all 7 of them. Payable cash, sale right away. He made him the offer. The guy came back. He took 95,000 apiece. So I made over 40 grand on each one of those on day 1. Was I a pretty happy boy that day? Yeah, and that was my first ever wholesale real estate deal. I loved pulling off deals like that. These days, those deals they're very easy to do. As you get more money, they become easier and easier to do. Ultimately, though, gang, it's not about buying investments. Ultimately, we get to the top of the ladder and we create capital. What do we do at the top, gang? What do we do? Create capital. So it's retail investing, wholesale investing, and then we create capital. So what do I mean by that? Well, in business, you would build a business and create maybe a franchise and sell the franchise so other people buy the capital for you. In real estate, you would build a development and you would sell the development and other people would buy into your development where you created capital. Or in the alcohol business, that will go to a public offering, so an IPO, that will happen in the UK early next year, and that will be publicly offered for somewhere between 180 and 220 million pounds. So we will allow other people to buy into our investment. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the ultimate level. Can you jump straight to that level? No, because if you jump straight to that level without having done these, you don't understand what's going on up here. You've got to learn it step by step by step. So what do the steps look like? Well, the steps look this way. We start down the bottom here as a student. As a student, you're at level -1, okay? Why is a student a minus level? Very simply, it's a cost. Anyone that has a kid in school knows it costs money, okay? What is a student's job? A student is an apprentice employee. So they study a whole range of different things, do their apprenticeship to learn how to get a job. Now, as an employee, what are you an apprentice? You are an apprentice what? What do you think? Apprentice business owner. See, as an employee, your apprenticeship is to learn enough to be able to one day open your own business or buy your own business or start your own business. You're learning all these different things. So you step up to level 1. Level 1 is called self-employed. What's level 1, everybody? Now, who's at that level where it's just you in your business? You're the only employee in your own business. Hands right up high, let me see. Excellent. You guys are at what's called the seesaw phase of business. Find the work, do the work. Find the work, do the work. Find the work, do the work. What's your cash flow look like? Some of you aren't laughing at this one. Why not? Because that's where you're at. At the self-employed level, here's the challenge. What is there to learn at self-employed? Do you have to learn sales, yes or no? You got to learn sales, you got to learn marketing, you got to learn finance, you got to learn legals, you got to learn purchasing, you got to learn contracts, you got to learn leasing, you got to learn, you name it, you got to learn it at that level. Now here's the challenge. What if I said to you as an employee, your job is to do a bunch of different jobs so that when you get into business, you don't have to learn it on your own dime. You actually got paid to learn it while you work for someone else. See, ultimately, I was very lucky. When I was younger, I was allowed to move jobs very regularly. They helped me move out of one job into another on a very regular basis. Which basically means what? I got fired a lot. I was not a good employee. And I'm very grateful for the fact that I was not a good employee, because if I was a good employee, I might still have a job. I was lucky enough that I worked jobs in sales, jobs in marketing, jobs in finance, jobs in production, jobs in all different things, so that when I got into business myself, I didn't have to learn sales. Someone else had already paid me to learn sales. Give you the opposite end of that. I had a gentleman many years ago who was a good client of mine. He was an engineer. And he came to me and he said, Brad, I don't know what it is. I got 21 years engineering experience. I should be good with 21 years business experience. I said, hang on a sec. You don't have 21 years experience. You've got 1 year's experience. You just did it 21 years in a row. See, ultimately, my wife's friend, the hairdresser, how much sales experience does she have? How much sales training? How much marketing training? How much finance? How much recruiting? How much of all of that? None. At self-employed, the reason it's a challenge for most people is that they haven't learned all of the skills that you need to learn to be self-employed. So most people at self-employed, what ends up happening, do you think? They end up quitting and going back and getting a job. And that's a sad thing because they didn't learn enough and didn't learn it fast enough. So then we move up. Some of us graduate from there. We move up to level 2. We become the manager. It's still our own business, but now we've employed some people. How many of you in the room are at that level? You got employees that work for you. Hands right up high. Let me see. Come on, there's a bunch more of you than that. You stood up before. Excellent. Good to see. So with those employees in your business, in the beginning, the problem is you think they work for you. What's the truth? You work for them. You go to work all day, every day to make enough money to pay their wages. Yay! You've gotten off of the seesaw, now you're on the merry-go-round. You're running around in circles, putting out fires, they start. Yay! How come? 2 reasons. One is, if you didn't learn it at self-employed, when you hire more people, does it get worse or better? Worse. And second is, what do you got to learn at manager level? Well, you got to learn management, leadership, recruiting. You got to learn training. You got to learn systemization, cash flow management. You got to learn planning. All of these different things. The bigger the business, the more planning needs to happen. You know, so as you grow and do this learning, this is why your first business is tough, because you got to do all that learning as you're growing the business. Ultimately, some of you graduate. Now, by the way, most people at manager level, do you know what they end up doing? Firing, so they just come out, look, I'm going to fire everyone and go back to when it was just me. Some of you obviously did that recently by the sounds of it. Some get up to level 3, and that's called owner. There are 6 of us here in this room that have achieved that level. You saw 5 of them standing there before, plus me, that have achieved the level called owner. The business works so you don't have to. You've built a business that works. You don't have to go in. It's great. That's where we want to get you to first. Now, the rest of this evening, we're going to focus on these next 2 levels, though. Rest of this evening, we're going to go to level 4, which is the investor. That's where we go and we do retail wholesale deals, where we buy into deals. I'm not going to teach you retail. I will mention retail, but I'm going to focus more on wholesale. This is why I run a course in Las Vegas every year, teaching people how to do that wholesale level. Is that course probably something you have to do at some stage in your life? Yes or no? Yeah, at some stage. Some of you want to come soon. Some of you want to come later. I hope you all come soon, because the sooner you start doing it, the faster you start investing. Level 5 then is where we get to over here where we create capital. That's where you become the entrepreneur. At the entrepreneur level, that's where you start playing the really big games and having the really big deals. So level 4, what's it called, everybody? Come on, everyone, what's level 4? Level 5? Now, to get to this owner level, where are all my business owners again in the room? Those of you that have your own business. I'm going to give you all a gift. In fact, in your bag, there was a yellow piece of paper. If all the business owners can just grab out the yellow piece of paper, I'm going to give you all a gift. In fact, let me do something slightly different here. This here is a set of 87 DVDs. Literally, these 87 DVDs are all about 12 to 15 minutes long. They're designed for you to learn over the next 87 days. So every morning for 87 days, you get to learn with me every single morning. Would that be a good thing? So this is 87 DVDs that people may want or may not want. Excellent job. You just threw some on the ground. Oh yeah, anyone who comes down can have it. Excellent, good job. Now, actually, let me do this. Thank you for being I will give it to you tomorrow. In fact, here's what I'm going to do.
I'll make a deal with him.
You can make a deal, Don. I'm going to make a deal with you. Don, tomorrow morning, you are going to get an email from me. It's going to have a link to all 87 DVDs. Over the next 87 days, Walter, who travels with me, Walter, wave your hand, Walter up the back. Walter, who travels with me everywhere in the world, is going to watch and see if you follow it for 87 days. If you do, there might be a gift for you at the end.
Thank you.
Well done, Don. By the way, Walter is going to send that email out to every single one of you in the room. You are welcome. What is your job? To have the discipline for 87 days to watch it. Not to watch 87 of them this weekend. But for 87 days in a row to watch one of these. We will be watching because it tells me you will get sent a password, and every time you log in, it will tell me that you've logged in and you've watched the video. And we will watch. We will see. See, my question is, who's actually committed to their own wealth? Who's committed? Not hoping for it, but committed. So, for all the business owners in the room, how many of you would like for me, tomorrow I'm going to hang out in Curacao anyway, how many of you would like for me to come out to your business, spend 1 hour with you in your business, free of charge, showing you how to grow your business, build it up, and build your own wealth? Who would like that? Say yeah. Excellent. I'm not going to do it. I just wanted to see how many of you would like that. Guy's got to build his ego somehow, doesn't he? You know? Okay, here's what is going to happen, though. Arthur and his team here in Curacao are going to give 1 hour to every single business owner in this room. We have done this for 22 years as a company. All of my team in every office all around the world, every single week, gives away 4 hours of their time pro bono to business owners and shows them for 1 hour how to grow their business. We've done it for 22 years. We will continue to do it forever. We do it for 3 main reasons. Number 1, the vision of our company is world abundance through business re-education. Our goal as a company is to create an abundant planet, because here's the deal with business, right? The more, the more. Let's do a simple example of this. Say Dellison here goes and grows his business and adds 20 new employees, right? That's now 20 more people with money here in Curacao ready to go and buy from your business. Melangela here, she's now going to add 4 more staff because she's just down the road from him, and his staff come into her business and buy stuff, so she's got to add more stuff. Jose's now going to add more staff because there's more. All of a sudden, Eric's got to add more stuff, and it just keeps going up and up and up. Do you all understand that? If I help every single one of you in this room that owns a business add 2 employees over the next 12 months, guess what happens? Every single person in the room's business grows because now you've got about 600 new employees with money ready to start buying stuff from you. Does that make sense? So that's the number 1 reason we do it. The number 2 reason that we've given this away and we keep doing it is a very simple reason. I believe that if we make you some money by doing stuff for free, there's a pretty good chance at some point you'll become a customer of ours. Okay? Like I do these seminars for free. People say, Brad, why do you do the seminars for free? I said, because really? Do you think someone's going to pay me $100 and come to a seminar and that $100 is going to make any actual difference in my life? No, I would rather give it for free, and the people that really want to learn, they'll show up. You know? So congratulations on showing up. It's important to show up in life. It really is. Third reason I give this away, and it's a very, very selfish reason for me. I love the testimonials you send me. I'm serious. There is not a day of my life where I do not get on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitter someone contacting me or even email direct to me telling me how the seminar made a difference in their life, or how the coach has made a difference in their life, or how they've added this or they've done that. I literally had one of my students from Melbourne, Australia send me an email just after Christmas telling me that he just sold his company for $115 million. He'd been a student of mine for 14 years, though. As I said, it doesn't happen in a day or a week. It takes time. But Jamie, $115 million. Him and his family now are on vacation, literally, for the next 3 months. You know, he's taking his family around the world for 3 straight months. That's kind of cool. Actually, I got another one just last week. A young student of mine in Adelaide, South Australia. He literally just did his first $80 million real estate deal. He netted $80 million out of the deal. 16 years a student though, not 16 weeks. Takes time, gang. You got to be realistic about your wealth. You got to put in the time, energy, and effort. That's why the first test is 87 days. Okay, so business owners, here's what you need to do. On the form, you need to pick what areas you need the most help in, okay? If it's sales and marketing, then tick the sales and marketing boxes. If it's team and leadership, then tick those boxes. If it's across the board, a variance of different things, then fill it in right now. Don't wait till the end. Fill it in right now. Hand it into my team at the door on your way out, or hand it into Walter at the back table on your way out. Either way, you need to hand that form in. And what happens, it's first come, first served. And look, we do 4 hours of pro bono work. We've always done it. It will take us some time to get through every single one of you in the room, but we will do that, okay? It's our guarantee to you. I like doing it. While you've got these bits of paper, let me explain the other ones. There is a blue one in there. This one, actually, you might be able to help us. We need more coaches at Action Coach. We are always looking for great business coaches, all across the Caribbean, by the way, not just here in Curacao, across the entire chain. So if you know someone who you think would make a great coach, not, hey, my brother-in-law's out of work, I'll give it to him. No. If you know someone that's going to be a great coach, please give this to them and have them contact us. If it's you, please just fill it in tonight and hand it in to us, okay? Also, you'll notice 2 other companies on there. Love for Marketing. That's one of my companies I bought in England 2 years ago. We're now putting that across the entire world. It's a social media and search engine optimization, consulting and coaching business where we educate business owners how to do that and business people how to do that. If you think of someone that you know that might be like that, tell them to contact us. Profit Plus, that's our bookkeeping business that I bought in Australia 3 years ago. And that particular business we're now rolling out all across the world, doing bookkeeping in amazing ways to help business owners take control of the cash in their business. So if you know that, please get us and help me with that. The green one is for the books. Walter has a special deal for you at the back table. For $200, you can buy the whole set. And the pink one, this is my masterclass in Vegas. If you want to come to that, great. I'll tell you more about that as the night goes on. But actually, at the end of tonight, I am going to make you an offer. It's an offer that means every single one of you in this room can afford to come if you actually want to come. But I'm only going to make the offer to the people that have actually filled in the form. Because here's the question. You don't know what the offer is going to be. The offer could be that I'm going to give the course for free. But only if you filled in the form. Now, I can guarantee you one thing, it won't be for free. Why? I did that once. Guess what the success rate of people who came to my 3-day course for free was compared to people who actually paid a few dollars for it? What do you think it was? It was 10%. The success rate was 10% of what it was for people that paid. So I will never give it for free because people just don't value it for some reason when I gave it away for free. So they're the bits of paper. Remember to hand that yellow one in at the way out, all the business owners. Yeah, fill it in now and hand it in on your way out. All right, let's get back to the learning. Actually, let's get back to a question before we go to the learning. When and why? When and why will you be rich? I want you to think about this for a second. I told you at the start of this evening you're going to have to make some decisions. The first decision you've already made is that you can learn to be rich. The second question you have to actually take a look at is when and why. You have to decide when you're going to be rich. I want to tell you my story. It's a little bit of a personal story, but I want to tell it to you anyway because I think you will understand what happened. I decided to be rich in my life when I was 13 years of age. And I remember vividly how it happened. Any of you ever moved schools as a kid when you were younger? We moved schools a lot. My dad got promoted, we moved schools. I had 2 brothers, Craig and Jason. And when any boys that have moved school understand this, when you're a boy and you move schools, guess what's going to happen within the first week? Someone wants to pick on the new kid. Happened to us everywhere we went. Now, we moved to Adelaide, South Australia. And at the time, the cool thing was wearing Levi's 501 jeans. Anyone remember the Levi's 501 thing? It was like, that was cool. If you had Levi's 501s, you were the dude. You were the man. Or the woman. You were the cool person. Well, my mom did not believe in Levi's 501s. She didn't believe in cool. My mom believed in what we could afford. And what we could afford was corduroy jeans from Kmart. I personally would like to kill whoever invented corduroy. I think it is the worst fabric in the world, especially with their pants. Do you all remember corduroy pants? Yes, you remember it, don't you? I'm 13 in a new school wearing corduroy pants that go. Do you think I fit in? No. And for a 13-year-old boy, is fitting in important? Oh, yeah. I wanted to fit in pretty bad. Middle of the first week, I come home all scuffed up, all dirty, because some kid decided to take me out. I get home, I get in trouble from my mom because I'm all dirty. I'm like, Mom, I wouldn't be dirty if you bought me the right jeans. She's like, oh, rubbish, don't be stupid. That's not important in life. I remember thinking vividly, Mom, why am I getting in trouble for getting beat up? You know, you don't get it. Went to my room, did what normal 13-year-old boys do, slammed the door, went in my room, and I committed to myself right there and then, this will never happen again. I started getting jobs, I started working, and it's never happened again. I've never been in a position where I can't afford to have the things that I want or that I need in my life. Because I made a decision. At some point, you got to make a decision. And you don't have to have a reason like getting beat up for it. You can have a reason like, you know what? Brad's right. I got to actually decide and commit to my wealth. My wealth and my family's wealth is more important than me looking good. Too many people are out there looking good, going nowhere. Some of you know them. Some of you have friends like that. Some of you meet that person in the mirror every day. Stop it. You know, if you live your life to impress other people, then that's a shitty life. Be who you are and be it fully. You know, I love being who I am, and I piss some people off, and some people love me, and some people hate me, and I don't really give a shit. You know, I'm not here to impress anybody. My job is a simple one. Get you to decide what's important. You know, when you look at setting goals for yourself and your family, because you got to remember, as an adult in a family, you don't just set goals for you. You don't just perform for you. You set goals and perform for your family. 3 types of goals. Level 1 is called an away goal. What's it called? You're going away from a negative. I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be working 80 hours a week. Does that make sense? It's an away goal. It's a negative goal. Those goals are motivating for a certain period of time, but eventually it wears off. See, what happens with normal humans, if you say set the goal of I don't want to be working 80 hours, I don't want to be working 80 hours, I don't want to be working 80 hours, what do you end up doing? Working 80 hours. There's something about humans where they're like the frog in the boiling water. If you throw it straight in hot water, it jumps out. If you put it in cold water and let it stay there, it'll stay there till it dies. You know, and humans are like that. They'll work 80 hours and say, I don't like this, and then they eventually just accept it as their reality. Some of you need to stop accepting bullshit realities right now. You need to start saying, hang on, this reality that I have become accepting is not good for me or my family. This reality is not okay anymore. You need to move from away goals to towards goals. Instead of I don't want to be working 80 hours a week, I want to be working 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. Set a goal that you're going to. Instead of I don't want to be overweight, I want to be able to run 3 miles a day, 5 days a week. You know, instead of I don't want to be broke, I want to be able to buy an investment property once every quarter. Set goals to move towards. Now, most of you in this room are already at towards. How do I know that? You're here. It's a good indication of that fact. Ultimately, you're going to want to get to legacy. You don't need to be there now, but ultimately, you're going to want to get to legacy. Legacy is where you set a goal that's bigger than you, that's more important than you. You know, if you think about it, Ultimately, every single one of you, especially those of you with kids, you have a responsibility to leave a legacy. You have a responsibility. See, my thought is this. Every time I think about wealth in my family, I think, what will my great-great-great-grandkids think? Will they have my photo above that mantelpiece and say, you know what? It's because of him. Or see, for every one of you, will your great-great-great-grandkids think because of you, your family now comes from, your family name means something now. Because of you, your family comes from old money. Start that legacy. Start that, because if you can build that legacy in your family, imagine what can happen. See, it doesn't just have to be family, it can be business. Steve Jobs, when he came back to work at Apple, do you think he came back to pay the bills? There's nothing about paying the bills. He was a very rich man. In fact, Steve Jobs is a brilliant business lesson here. Apple is a brilliant business lesson of leverage versus no leverage. Think, how many of you remember where Apple was 15 years ago? Does anyone remember? Where was it? Bankrupt, basically. It was about to go bankrupt 15 years ago. Okay, here's this company that had a bad business model. Its business model worked. See, they made a computer once and sold it how many times? Once. Make it once, sell it once. That worked when no one owned a computer. Once everyone's got computers, there's no leverage. They don't make any money. Steve Jobs got kicked out of Apple. He went off and ran a new company that he sold to Disney. What was the company called? Who remembers? Pixar. Made movies. Toy Story. All these great movies that they made. What did Steve Jobs learn while running a movie company? Leverage. You make a movie once and sell it forever. Millions or billions of times. He came back to Apple and he said, hang on, we don't have any leverage here. We've actually got to make this a better business. He stopped them being in the computer business as his focus, and he said, we got to get into the music business. So he invented iTunes. They went over to Sony and stole the MP3 player and made it into an iPod. Sony invented it, not Apple. They invented iTunes. They started selling music. Now, here's the greatest question about Apple when it comes to leverage. How many songs did Apple make last year? None. How many did they sell? Billions. And they take 30 cents on the dollar for every single one sold. By the way, Sony, who invented the MP3 player, is also one of the largest music makers in the world and largest owners of music in the world. Now they pay Apple 30 cents on the dollar for every song they sell through iTunes. Someone at Sony should lose their job. But even more important than that, look at the leverage of Apple today. This is a company that went from bankruptcy to the largest, most highly capitalized business in the world. Think of it. They invented the iPod and you started listening to music, and then they invented the iPod Touch and the iPhone. And now there was this thing called apps. They never even thought of having apps, but magically they had this new business called apps, and people wanted all these apps. And how many apps did Apple make last year? One, actually. They made Apple Maps. It was a piece of shit. They should never have done that. It was awful. Okay, you open it up and you're in the ocean. Really? I'm in the ocean? Do you remember that? How bad was that? And then people said, well, we want to play games on it. And they weren't selling many games. And they said, what would make you buy more games? Well, we need a bigger screen. So they invented what? The iPad, because people would buy more games and start playing it. And then they realized, hey, it's bigger. People will watch TV on this. So they started selling TV shows and movies. How many movies did they make last year? None. How many did they sell? Millions. And they don't even have to do any advertising. Think about it. When Taylor Swift comes out with a new album, do you see Apple running ads? Please buy Taylor's album. Please buy Taylor's album. No, you see Taylor's company running all of these ads saying, please buy my album. And Apple's going, yeah, from us. Hey, Taylor, we keep 30 cents of every album you sell. Yay. Are you guys not Apple shareholders? As a shareholder at Apple, I'm like, this stuff rocks. I love this stuff. But gang, at some point, you got to make this decision. You got to make it. I don't care what your goals are now. Eventually, you'll get to legacy. But you got to make the decision. And if you make it here tonight, fantastic. All the better. But you got to decide. So let's take a look at how we make wealth through business. Business has a simple 3-step strategy. We buy them, we build them, and we sell them. What's the 3 steps, everybody? Number 1, number 2, and buy it, build it, sell it. Buy it, build it, sell it. Now, why do we go through that formula? In fact, even more important than that, before we go why we go through that, which one of these 3 do you think is the hardest? Buying them, building them, or selling them? Which one? Oh, actually, let's take a vote then. Everyone's got to vote for one of these 3. Who votes buying is the hardest? Who votes building is the hardest? Who votes selling is the hardest? Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I say tonight? Always some. Most of you voted for building. The problem is you don't understand building. You think working the job of your business is building a business. See, I build businesses. You cut hair. Cutting hair or working in your business, doing the job of your business is not building a business. Actually being outside of that job and building it is and that is a lot easier than working in a job in your business. See, the problem for many of you as business owners is that, can I be really blunt with you about this? Okay, as if I haven't been really blunt already. The only reason you are the CEO of the business is because you know the owner. If you didn't know the owner, you would not have got the job as CEO. You do not have the qualifications to be CEO of your business. True or not? In fact, let me put it even more blunt. If I owned your business, how long would you keep the job as CEO based on your current track record? 2 days? You're a generous person. See, the thing about it is, unfortunately in business, we think that working in the business is being the owner. No. Working on the business, doing owner's work that we discussed earlier is being an owner. Being an employee in your business is not building the business. Being an owner is building the business. So, let's get back to these 3. Buy it, build it, and sell it. Why do we sell? Let's deal with that one first. I remember as a kid learning this lesson. I didn't understand it, but I learnt it. I was 7 years of age, and we were going to my dad's friend's house for a barbecue. And my dad's friend was our milkman. We used to get home delivered fresh milk every morning. He'd run into the house and bring the milk, and then he'd go to the next house and the next house and that sort of thing. Now, you don't expect for your milkman to be rich. You don't expect, this is a guy that runs in with milk every day. You pay him $1 and he's gone type thing. We pull up at his house. It's this massive, big, beautiful house. Massive. I look at my dad and I go, Dad, is our milkman rich? And Dad's like, well, he's done very well for himself, son. I said, Dad, how does a milkman get to be rich? You're an accountant, right? Shouldn't accountants be richer than milkmen? Of course, my dad was very excited about me asking questions like this. So my dad turned to me and said, son, why don't you just ask him? Right up. I go inside, stand in front of him, line him up and say, listen, you're our milkman, right? He said, yeah. I said, how does a milkman get to be rich? He said, well, son, and I'll use his exact words and then I'll translate it for you. He said, son, you don't get rich selling the milk. You get rich selling the milk run. You don't get rich selling the product of your business. You get rich building a business and then selling the business. I didn't understand it at that age, but now I do. See, the number one most important number in any business, if we go to it one page over, is the value of the business. What is the business worth? What is the business actually worth? See, most of you are very worried about your revenues and your profits, but you don't know what your business is worth if it was available for sale. But the only reason to start a business, is to sell it, is to build an asset for sale. Business is too risky to do it just for the profits. For just the profits, it's not worth going into business for yourself. To build something that you actually can sell is the only reason it's worth taking all of that risk and putting in all of that time and all of that energy. Am I getting this through to everybody? Okay, if you can see this, and if I could be really blunt about it, let me tell you what happens when people go to sell a business. Let's say, for instance, Fabian here. Fabian's built his business. What industry are you in? In restaurants. Fabian's in a restaurant business. Now, unfortunately, Fabian hasn't learnt from my seminars. Fabian's just built his business himself. He's built a business that if he doesn't show up, it doesn't work. If he's not there all day, every day, the business doesn't work. Now, he goes to go and sell this. Is he actually selling a business or is he selling a job? Selling a job. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, who can buy this job from him? Can anyone buy this? Can all of the rich people in town buy this? No. The only people that can buy this business from him is someone that already knows how to run a restaurant. If I don't know how to run a restaurant, I can't buy this from him because I'm buying a job, I'm not buying a business. So in most cases, Fabian would only be paid, or someone selling a job would only be paid half a year's profit to 2 years' profit. That's the most you're going to get when you sell that business. Now, on the other hand here, what's your name? Jacqueline? What's your industry? What business? What type? Cleaning? Jacqueline's in the cleaning business. Now, Jacqueline's a bit of a genius. Jacqueline's a very clever businesswoman. She's built her business to a point where it works without her. She comes in once a month for a board meeting, says hi to everybody, sees how things are going, checks up, signs any paperwork that she needs to sign. She goes to sell her business. She's not selling a job. What is she actually selling? A real business. A real business. Who can she sell it to? Does she have to sell it to someone in the cleaning industry? She can sell it to anyone that has good money. Jacqueline's going to get paid somewhere between 3 and 6 times profits. 3 to 6 years profits paid to her in advance to buy her business from her. Now, on the other hand, Eric here. Eric's an even bigger genius. What industry are you in? Rental car business. Eric's built his business up so big, it's making more than $5 million a year in profit. Over $5 million a year in profit, run under management. He doesn't have to show up. He comes in once a month for a board meeting. That's it. And because it's making more than $5 million a year profit, now venture capital companies are actually interested in buying his company. See, when it's smaller than $5 million a year in profit, venture capitalists don't want to buy it because it's too small. Too much management, too much work to manage that small business. If they've got 100 million they need to manage, they don't want to be buying 100 businesses for $1 million each. They want to be putting 20 million here, 10 million there, 15 million. Does that make sense? Okay. So in his particular case, a venture capital firm will pay you between 6 and 12 times profits. Could you imagine being paid 10 years profits in one day? That'd be a good day. Yes or no? The holy grail of selling, is when you sell to a public company. Public companies that trade on the stock market, their shares are valued at a certain amount. I'll give you an example. I'm currently negotiating with a public company. Their shares are trading at a 22 multiple, which means their business is valued at 22 times profit. So they can buy my business for anywhere up to 22 times profit. If they bought it for 20 times profit, do they still win? Yes or no? Yeah, because they got 2 times profit automatically on day one. They bought it at wholesale. My best ever one I sold for 37 times profit. My dog food business. Do you think I was pretty happy on that day? Oh yeah. Extremely happy. See, the whole thing about it is the multiplier, the number of times profit, comes down to 2 main things. How big is the business and how well run under management is it? How big is it and how well under management? There is a third one, which is how fast it's growing, but those first 2 are the majority of what creates that multiplier, how many times profit they're willing to pay you to buy it. Now, let's take this back to my milkman. He ran a business. He would buy a new milk run or a new milk business every single year. He would buy it, he would build it up, and then he would sell it. He would buy one, build it, and sell it. So every year he ran the business, he would make a year's profit for running it and sell it for 6 times profit. So he would get 7 years profit every single year where you only make 1 year's profit a year because you're running your business and keeping it. The value of the asset is the ultimate thing you want to create. Does that make sense to everybody? Hello, yes or no? Okay. So when we do this whole thing of creating the business and making it for sale, I guess it's important to understand that we do want to have a business. At any one point in time, we do want to have a business because we need to have cash flow. But then we build this asset that's for sale. Now, by the way, when we sell these things, I want to go back because I missed one flip chart, which I want to go back to. These two things, I shouldn't really have to teach these at a business seminar, but I do. Gratitude and celebration. What are the two things? Everyone call them out for me? Okay, with some passion. What are they? Gratitude and celebration. Why do I have to teach gratitude? Real simple. If you're not grateful for what you have, you will not get any more. Okay, so if you don't show gratitude for what you've got, you won't get more. Think about that in business. If you don't show gratitude for people paying their bills on time, no one will pay their bills on time. If you don't show gratitude for referrals, no one gives you more referrals. So let's do a gratitude test. How many of you send out to your customers a thank you card or note or letter or something? So every time they buy from you, you send them a letter that says thank you. Who does that? Wow, so many of you have so much room for improvement. You need to come to some of my other seminars on marketing and stuff and learn all the marketing aspects of this thing, okay? Because simple thing. What about when you get a referral? If someone sends you a referral, do you send them a gift? I remember in my beauty salon, every time, like girls, if you went and you referred one of your girlfriends to your beautician and your beautician sent you a bottle of French champagne saying, thanks for referring your friend, please refer us some more, would you refer more people if you got a bottle of champagne every time, yes or no? Yeah, you'd be like halfway through the bottle and drunk text all your friends, wouldn't you? No? In fact, actually, there was an interesting story in that one. My front desk gal, her name was Megan, and she called me one day and said, boss, we got a problem. I said, what's the problem? She said, we're sending out a case of champagne a week to this one lady. I said, what do you mean? She said, I don't know. We think she's an alcoholic. We're not sure what's going on. You know. I said, hey, okay, well, give me her number. I called this woman up. I said, look, I'm Brad. I'm the owner of the beauty salon. I need to ask, because we're sending you a case of champagne a week. What's happening? She said, oh, look, I own a restaurant. I'm referring all my customers to you, and then you send me the champagne, and I sell it in my restaurant. Genius, this lady. Genius. You got to start thinking about it. But when it comes to gratitude, and actually my eldest daughter is probably the world's best gratitude artist. She collects snow globes. You know those things you shake them up and it looks like there's snow in them? So I collect them all over the world for her. And when I get home, she's always like, oh, Dad, how'd you go? What'd you find? And I pull out the snow globe and she's like, oh, Dad, this is great, fantastic. This will make my collection even better. I can't wait to put it in my collection. You're the best dad ever. Thank you so much for going out of your way and buying this for me. I love you, Dad. Big hugs, big kisses. How often do you reckon I want to buy a snow globe for that kid? Every single day. Wherever I go, I want to find them. Because she's so gracious about getting these things. See, I still remember when it comes to the subject of money, anyone remember the first money you ever made in your own business? First check or the first cash you got, that sort of thing? I remember the first time I got a check in my own business. It was $2,700. It was the first money we got in business, and I was doing a money dance. I'm like, yeah, we got money. Come on, I wasn't the only one. Some of you had to do that sort of thing, yes? Well, here's the interesting thing. Do you still do it? Or are you more like, hey, did that idiot pay his bills? Yeah, good. If you're not showing gratitude, don't expect more to show up. Okay? You gotta be showing gratitude to get more to show up. Celebration is a great way of showing gratitude. And business owners, I don't know what it is, but business owners are usually the worst celebrators on the planet. They're like, yeah, I know we hit our goals. Yeah, I know we did good, but we're busy. Yeah, we did good, but we're busy. Yeah, we'll celebrate later. We're busy. You might think you don't need to celebrate, but what ends up happening is if you don't celebrate the little things, you end up hating your business because all you're focused on is all the problems. All the small problems that keep coming up. You've got to celebrate the little things. And in fact, you might not even need to celebrate it, but your staff might need to celebrate it just to be recognized for the work they've done. Which brings me to another point. Do you recognize your staff for the work they do that's good? Or if I asked your staff, do you hear from the boss mostly when you do good stuff or when you do bad stuff? What would their answer be? Better be when it's good. Does it take much as the owner of a business to send 2 texts or 2 emails or 2 little notes to 2 staff members a day saying, hey, I saw the work you're doing on this, great job? Takes no effort at all. But do you think it makes a difference to your people? Massive difference. Massive difference. Build the loyalty by building people. So celebration. How many of you are real good at celebration in the room? Actually, let's do a test. Raise your hand if you buy yourself a birthday present every year. Raise your hand if you're that person. Excellent work. Rest of you, get your acts together. A, the economy needs you. B, no one's going to spend that much money on you. Let's be honest about that fact. I love celebrating. I love buying myself birthday presents, all sorts of things. Actually, the twins just had their 2nd birthday, Colton and Addison, and we love having parties. So we literally had 180 people over for the kids' birthday party, like 120 adults, 60 kids, and party time in our house. And because it was a kids' party, you have to have a theme at a kids' party. So my wife got sushi, so we called it an Eating Nemo party. You now can understand my wife's sense of humor. Damn funny. You got to celebrate life, gang. You've only got one shot at it. Life's 4,000 weeks. Celebrate something every single week. Every week, find something to celebrate. Keep enjoying yourself and enjoying life. And I'll say this over and over and over again. The more you do of this, the more you get. The better you get at celebrating life, the more life you get. All right, so let's get back to this business thing. You got to buy a business, build a business, and sell it. Which one is the hardest of the 3? Actually, the buying. Because the buying is emotional. And the problem with buying is you fall in love with it type thing, and then you end up paying too much for it, and you don't buy the right business, and it's tough. You've got to have a lot of patience to buy. Because here's the problem. If you buy badly, you will always lose money. If you buy right, though, when you buy right, guess what? You are guaranteed to make money. Eddie and Evelyn paying $3,000 for that noodle bar place. It was such a funny deal because not only did they buy it, they went to the landlord and said it needed painting, and the landlord said, okay, get me quotes. They got quotes for $1,500 to do the painting. The landlord gave them $1,500. They did it themselves for $200. Smart couple. It literally had an apartment above the restaurant. They lived in the apartment. They owned the business for a total of 14 weeks. They fixed the business up. They got it cleaned up. They got everything done. They presented it proper. They boosted sales by doing some good marketing and doing things. 14 weeks later, they sold it for $76,000. They'd lived rent-free for the 14 weeks. They'd eaten free food for the 14 weeks. They were sick of noodles by the end of 14 weeks. But you think about what you can do. You buy them, you build them, you sell them. Now, when it comes to buying investments, I want to make one point very clear. You don't buy an investment based on a gut feeling. You buy an investment based on a set of rules. A set of what? Rules. You've got to learn the rules. Again, the learning is very important when it comes to understanding. Is it important that you watch those 87 DVDs over the next 87 days? Yes or no? Keep the learning going. Is it important to read books? Is it important to keep doing it? Absolutely. It's important for some of you that are truly committed to your wealth. Come to Vegas and learn from me direct. By the way, if you haven't filled in the pink form, fill it in now. I'm going to make you an offer later, and if it's not filled in, you don't get the offer. It's as simple as that, okay? So yeah, fill it in right now. Pull it out and fill it in. Don't just look at me. Jeepers. So, yeah, if you want the books, fill in that form. So, buying a business. You don't need to talk to fill it in. Just fill the damn thing in. Okay, back to the lessons while you're filling it in. Here's a question for you. If you don't know enough to write yourself a set of rules about investing, if you don't know enough to write yourself a set of rules about investing, should you be investing? No. If you can't even write yourself a set of rules, you don't know enough to write the rules, then you don't know enough to invest. And I have to stress this point. I had a guy ask me after the seminar, literally last night, I've taught this lesson the whole night. He comes up to me after the seminar and goes, Brad, what should I invest in? And I'd had it by that time. I said to him, buy the book so you don't have to ask me such a stupid question. What do you have to invest in first? Knowledge. Why do you think I pull into every real estate agent everywhere I go all around the world? Why do you think I go in there? To ask them questions, to get knowledge from these people. So what I want to do now is I want to give you my top 8 rules that I use when I buy companies. Because I want you to understand what I mean by rules, okay? So what do rules mean? Let's start at the beginning of these top 8 and work our way through. Rule number 1, a business has got to be surviving despite itself. What's rule 1? It's got to be surviving despite itself. What do you think that means? It's surviving even though the owner is a complete idiot. Even though the owner doesn't really know what they're doing, it's still making money somehow. It's got like a great customer, or it's got it's a great position, or something about it that it makes money even though they're not doing a good job. Bad customer service, it's still making money. Not good, not cleaned up, still making money. Like, remember Mark and Sharon, they bought that coffee shop? Literally, that coffee shop, it had seating for 50 people. Now, if you had seating for 50 in a coffee shop, how many coffee mugs would you have at a minimum? 50, yes? 32. They literally only had 32 coffee cups. So they're like, hey, finish your coffee up. I need to sell one to another person. Hurry up. Yeah, just not smart. Rule number 2, it's got to be repeat business. What's rule 2, everyone? Why do I want repeat business? It costs a lot to get a customer these days. It's hard work to get a customer. You don't want to have to get one and then to make another sale, go get another one. You want to be able to get a customer and keep them coming back year after year after year. Why am I in the restaurant business? Because people keep buying food. Why do I go in the dog food business? How often you got to feed your dog? Every day, okay? If you don't feed it every day, what happens? It dies in a day? It barks at you. They die here in Curacao? Okay, you guys are laughing too much about this. There must be something I don't know about this. All right, someone has to fill me in on the inside dog joke later on tonight, all right? I loved that. Actually, that business was a lot of fun. I loved that business. We home delivered the dog food. We had veterinary nurses as our drivers. They did a 17-point health check on your dog whilst they were there. Phenomenal business. Great product, great price, I really enjoyed it. In fact, we had a guarantee. This actually, I probably wouldn't offer this guarantee in Curacao now, what you're selling me. We had a guarantee that if your dog should ever die while you're a customer of ours, we'll buy you a new dog. What size dog did we buy people, by the way? Big dogs. Anything that eats a lot of food. It's like, but I used to have a Chihuahua. Yeah, but this German Shepherd eats a lot. Have this one. A lot of fun, that business. See, repeat business is important. Again, like, why did I go in the alcohol business in London? Do you think they come back and drink more, yes or no? Yes. I mean, you got to go into business, the shampoo business, because, someone buys a shampoo, they come back and shampoo again, and it's just repeat business. And you know what? I didn't know this, but you girls spend a ton of money on shampoo. When they started offering me this business to buy, I'm like, well, how much do people spend on shampoo? Because I buy like this massive big thing, and it takes me about 4 years to use it, and it costs me $2. I'm a guy. What does a guy use on his hair? Anything that's left by his wife, that's it. You girls spend a ton of money on this. Keep doing it, by the way. I'm very happy with you doing that. Low skill business. I don't want a high skill business. Look, when it's a high skill, I'm not going to go and buy an architectural firm full of overpaid, oversensitive, overegoed architects. They're high education, and they get upset, and they're like, well, I'm going to leave and steal my clients. Okay, the alcohol delivery business. This is called low skill. What have I got to do to employ someone? Can you ride a moped? Yes. Can you ride it to the right address? Yes. Can you carry the box to the front door full of bottles without dropping it? Yes. Good. You're hired. I mean, that's the skill level we need. I like companies where it's easy to get employees, easy to replace employees, easy to train them. Does that make sense? Okay, much easier to build with that. Point 4, a staple product or service. What's point 4? What's it got to be? Staple product or service, something that people already buy. They already know they buy it. They already have a budget for buying it. They want to buy it. They need to buy it. They keep coming back and buying more. Why do I go in the car business? Everyone buys a car. I don't have to talk them into buying a car. They already know. Buy a car. I just got to convince them to buy it from me. Staple products and services. Okay, shampoo, something people already buy. These are the things that I look for when I'm buying companies. Point number 5 through 8. Number 5, cash flow, not assets. Call it out for me, everyone. What do you think that means? I don't want to buy a business where what I'm buying is the assets, like a big manufacturing business has lots of assets in the business. I want to buy a cash flow style business. So what's an example? Would I buy an air conditioning servicing company or an air conditioning manufacturing company? Servicing, okay? Why would I buy servicing over manufacturing? Manufacturing has all this equipment. What's the equipment guaranteed to do while I own that business? Go up or down? Down. It's going to depreciate. I don't want to buy stuff that's guaranteed to go down. I want to buy the cash flow so I can build it up and therefore increase the value of the asset. Point number 6, got to have a great manager. What's point 6? I do not, how can I teach this? Okay, I'm a racehorse owner. So my racehorses, if I've got a really good racehorse and I put a bad jockey on that really good racehorse, what's my chances of winning the race? Basically 0. Is that clear for everyone? What if I got a pretty average horse and I put a great jockey on it? What's my chances of winning? Pretty good. Same is true for business. How many of you ever seen a really good business ruined by an idiot manager? Yes? Okay? And you see it time after time after time. You've got to understand that great managers make a great business. It's why I hate that TV show, Shark Tank. That's the dumbest TV show ever. It's like they go and they're standing there and going, well, let me see your idea. No one buys a business based on the idea. You buy a business based on, can these people, you're going to invest in the people, not the idea. Ideas are easy. You know, there's another great show on CNBC called The Prophet. Do you guys get that here yet? Yeah, The Prophet, Mark Lemoyne. He goes in and interviews the people and says, are you any good at running a business? Good, I'll invest in you. That's what, I had a lady talk to me in Melbourne, Australia about a year or two ago. And she comes up and said, well, Brad, I've written a business plan. I need to see if people invest in the business plan. I said, you don't get it. People don't invest in the business plan. They invest in the business person. Are you the type of person I would invest in is the number one priority. Then I'll look at, is the idea any good? Because if you're a great business person, what's another example of that? Oh, my restaurant, our wine manager. So I'm looking at the wine, our sommelier, wine manager, and they weren't doing very well. My partner, Morty, agreed. He fired him. I'm started looking for a new wine manager. I just happened to be at dinner that night, and I'm at a restaurant that's got good wine programs, so I'm looking through it all and think, wow, they got a lot of good wines in here that have profit built in. There's sort of things that people will buy. And let me talk to the sommelier. She came over. Her name was Chloe. And I sat with Chloe and I asked her a few questions about her wine program, how she put it together. And I said, well, tell me, how often do you go to Napa Valley and learn about more wine? She said, well, I never get up there. I said, oh, you should work for a restaurant where they send you there for training all the time and you can learn a whole bunch. How much training do you get? She said, oh, I don't get much training at all. Oh, you should work for a restaurant where they send you to training so you become a better wine manager all the time. Here's my card. Call me tomorrow. She came to work for us, tripled our wine sales. Tripled. Now, anyone that's in the restaurant business knows that if you tripled your wine sales, what did you just do to your profits? Massive improvement in profitability. Massive. Hiring great people. Now, in the beginning, who's going to be the manager of your businesses? That'll be you. So you've got to become the great manager. Now, I remember when I was an average manager in business, and I'll tell you the story because my dad is a very blunt human being, okay? And you'll see where I got my motivational streak from. I remember, I reckon I was 20 or 21, and I went to my dad and I just said, you know what, Dad, I just can't get good people. And my dad looks me dead in the eye and he says, Brad, you get the people you deserve. You're an average manager running an average business. Highest caliber of employee you're going to get is... Now, I didn't like the advice, but was it true? Yes or no? You can see the people that don't want to say yes. They're the ones that yesterday said can't get good people. Got to get good people. To get good people, though, you've got to become a great manager. The better you get at being a great manager and a great leader, the better the chances are of you getting great people wanting to work for your company. Rule 7, 50, 10, 3, 1. Call those numbers out so I know you remember them. What are they? 50, 10, 3, 1. For every 50 businesses you look at to buy, 10 of them will meet your rules. Out of the 10 that meet your rules, you'll make an offer on 3. Now, why will you only make an offer on 3? Because 7 out of the 10 of them won't have a reason to sell. They'll just hold out for full price. There'll be 3 out of 10 that have a reason to sell. They're sick, or they want to retire, or they want to move, or something like that. Does that make sense? Okay? And then out of the 3 that you make an offer on, you'll end up buying just 1. But again, they're the numbers. So in order to get a good deal, you've got to look at how many? 50 in most cases. Finally, rule number 8, that brings me to get that 1, it's got to be my deal. My deal. Not their deal, not their price. We don't negotiate. We buy it at the deal that we structured. So we learn how to value a business, and then when we go to that person, we know what our offer is going to be because we've done the valuation. We know what it's worth. We've done our due diligence. We've inspected the business. We've inspected all of the things. We've gone through. I have a checklist that I teach you when you come to Vegas of how to go through this stuff and actually ask them all of the questions you need to ask to be good at buying a business. So here's a real simple question for you. If you go and follow these rules, are you got more chance of succeeding than someone who doesn't follow these rules? Yes or no? Yeah. So should you have your own rules about business, about real estate, about shares? It's what you got to have. Before you start investing, learn enough that you can write your own rules so that you are a good investor. If you don't have rules, you invest based on like gut feel or intuition or something like that. And that might serve you a few times, but ultimately it brings you down. You got to follow your own rules. Let's start looking at real estate. So in real estate, as in business, we had buy, build, sell. In real estate, we have a three-step formula. Buy, renovate, redraw. What's the formula? Call it out for me. Buy, renovate, redraw. Now, first and foremost, it doesn't say sell. So when do we sell real estate? Never. When do we sell real estate? Never. Okay, let's understand that one. Now, I am literally in the next 5 minutes about to blow your mind. I am in the next 5 minutes going to teach you about real estate from a wealthy person's perspective. Most of you in this room that are over the age of 40 will kick yourselves in the butt when you learn what I'm about to teach you right now. Those of you over 50 will use both feet. You will realize in about 5 minutes' time, anyone who is not investing in real estate is a complete and utter moron. I have no real estate to sell you. I have no interest in selling you a house. I'm going to teach you how to invest in these. If I had a really good real estate deal, I would not give it to you. I don't like you enough. I would keep it for myself. But I want you to understand something about being wealthy. Being wealthy is all about having other people pay for things for you. Being wealthy is about having other people pay for things for you. Think about that for a second. So real estate. Let's do a simple example. Angelo here. Angelo's a bit of a genius. Tomorrow he's going to go and invest in a piece of real estate. He's going to go and buy a house. Let's, for ease of math, just say it's a $100,000 house, okay? It's an investment for him. He's going to put a tenant in there. They're going to rent the house. He's not going to live there himself. It's $100,000. Let's just say the banks are at a stage where they're lending 80% and he's putting in 20%. Let's just pretend that's where we're at this point in time. Do they go up and down, yes or no? There's periods of time where they'll only lend 70%. There's other periods where they'll lend 100%. But on average, banks around the world are about 80% depending upon where you are in the market. So let's just use those numbers. You're a genius. True or not, Angela?
Yep.
Genius. He puts in how much money to buy this $100,000 house? $20,000. You got it? He puts in 20%. The bank gives him 80 grand. He then puts a tenant into that house. It's a 20-year mortgage, let's pretend. So over the next 20 years, who's going to pay the mortgage? The tenant is going to pay the mortgage. So 20 years from now, Angelo owns that house outright. What percentage of the house did he pay for? 20%. If someone else was willing to pay for 80% of your retirement, would you do that deal? Yes or no? Hello, yes or no? Why is it most people are worried about investing in real estate? They're worried about, does it go up or down? Will it go up? Will it go down? Will it go up? Will it go down? I don't know if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down. It doesn't matter. Ask Angelo. Angelo, does it matter if it goes up or down if someone else pays for 80% of your house? Because Angelo's a genius. We've already established this fact. If someone else pays for 80% of a house for you, how many houses will you buy? As many as you can. If someone else is willing to pay for 80% of your retirement, see, here's the craziest, dumbest thing about this. When you understand that real estate is about the fact that someone else pays for 80% of your asset for you. Someone else is going to pay for 80% of your retirement. Those of you who are 40 plus now, imagine 20 years ago you bought a few. He's a lot younger than his friend, that's why he's laughing. He's punching his friend. When you get this, is when you understand, holy shit. It doesn't matter if it goes up or down. It doesn't matter if it goes sideways. All that matters is I can get someone else to rent the house and pay the mortgage for me. And in 20 years' time, I own it, free and clear, and I collect the rent for the rest of time. When you get that, see, think of Monopoly. How many of you play Monopoly? Any of you play Monopoly? Some of you need to play it a lot more often, okay? Some of you need to start playing it in real life, too. First time around the Monopoly board. You all remember this, don't you? The first time round, you're like, oh, should I buy it? Should I buy it? Or, no, I don't like the purple ones. I don't want to get the purple ones. I want to get the dark blue ones. That's what I want, you know. I don't want the purple. They're awful. Oh, the light blue, they're crappy. You know, you want these other ones. Fifth time around the board, what do you buy? Is it for sale? Yep, I'll have it. How much? Don't matter. Just give it to me. See, real estate investors understand a simple thing. Which property should you buy? Anyone that's for sale. Anyone that is for sale is what you should be buying. Because you're only ever going to pay for 20% of it. Is this starting to sink in? Are some of you kicking yourself right now? Good. You better start kicking. All the way to the real estate agent's desk. So if you can get someone else to pay for 80% of it, which is, and now, okay, so you can only borrow 70%. Oh, oops, someone else will only pay for 70% of it for you. Too bad, so sad. Is that a problem that someone will only pay for 70%? No, not really a problem. Now, I'm going to teach you the second level to this, because this is level one. This is dead set retail. Can you pay retail and still make a fortune over your lifetime using this strategy? Yes or no? Hello, yes or no? Yes. Level two. Renovate. Your job, once you have bought an investment property, is to get your down payment, your deposit, to get it back as soon as possible. What's your job? Come on everyone, get your what? Back. Now, what's the slowest way to get your down payment back? Angelo, you're our genius. Could Angelo wait around for 5 or 10 years for the market to go up gradually and then go to the bank and refinance and get back his deposit? Yes or no? Hello, yes or no? Yeah, you wait long enough, it'll go up in value, you get your deposit back. Generally, somewhere between 5 and 10 years for it to have gone up that much, okay? That's assuming he paid full price for it, assuming he didn't negotiate very well, assuming he just paid retail for it and got it at that. So that's his first way of getting his money back quick. Now, here's the great thing about that. Once he gets his deposit back, he can go and buy another one. If you are really committed to your own wealth, might you set a goal of getting a part-time job or fixing your current business or working harder and making enough money to have 20 grand a year to buy one house a year for the next 10 years? What if that was your goal? Now, what if I also taught you to find houses that need a little bit of renovation, to find the right type of house that you can renovate and increase the value by 30%, and then you go back to the bank and say, hey, Mr. Banker, I've increased the value by 30%. Can I have my deposit back? You refinance, get your deposit back, and then you go and buy another one. What if it took you a year to do the renovation and every year you got your deposit back? Would that be a good thing? Yes or no? So every year you get your deposit back, buy another one. Spend a year renovating, get your deposit back, buy another one. You could do that with your own home very easily. Just keep moving your own home and keep the old one, rent it out, move to a new one, rent it out, move to a new one, rent it out. Dead simple. What if you could actually learn how to do the renovation in 90 days? What if you could learn to do this every 90 days, once a quarter? You could buy a house, renovate it. What if you could learn the financial tricks of how to actually have the bank agree to refinance it as soon as you finish the renovation? In fact, they finance the renovation for you, and then once they revalue it, they give you your deposit straight back. Could that be a good thing to learn? Yes or no? Here's the funny thing. If I can get my down payment back inside 90 days, or even inside a year, what just happened to this all of a sudden? What percentage is someone else paying for of the asset for me? 100% of my retirement. Hang on, someone else is going to pay for 100% of my retirement if I do this right. Maybe I should learn that. Are you starting to get this? Yes or no? Hello? Now, is there a pretty good chance it's going to go up in value over 20 years? Yes or no? Pretty good chance. Does it matter? Doesn't matter at all. In fact, it could go down in value by 10, 20, 30%. You're still ahead because you only paid for 20% of it. Or 0%. Stop punching him, all right? He's got the point. He gets it. He's old. He understands. Why do we know that this is going to go up in value over time? Well, actually, let me just ask, where are those of you in the room in construction? Who's in construction? All of those in construction. Does cost keep going up for construction? Yes or no? What keeps going up? The cost of the materials go up, the cost of the labor, the cost of these things go up. If the cost of building a house goes up, does that mean they're going to charge you more for the house? Yes or no? So that pushes the prices of houses up, guaranteed all the time. Okay, always going to happen, but we don't care if it goes up or down in value. What we care about is that someone else pays for the majority of it for us. Let's just say we understood this. In real estate, there is always something booming. Either the price or rent. Either the rent is going up or the price is going up. What's been going up here recently? Which one? Rent. Rent has been going up. So rent goes up. Eventually, price hasn't gone up, so the seesaw's down over here. Rent goes up to a certain point where people think, hey, this rent is very high. It's cheaper if I go and buy a house. So that now people are buying, it puts pressure on the prices, there's more demand, so it raises the prices. And then the price gets so high, people think, hang on, it's cheaper for me to go and rent. So people start renting, it puts pressure on the rents, and rents go up. How many of you, by the way, have ever seen rents go down? Once they get up there, they stay up there. How come? Because the job of the rent is to pay the mortgage. The mortgage didn't go down. The rent stays up because it's got to pay the mortgage. And then, again, the price goes up and it just keeps doing this. And that happens in every market all around the world, always has, always will. Does it matter how fast it goes up? Kinda, but not really. If you're getting your deposit back by doing renovation, you don't care if it goes down or goes up because someone else is paying for it for you. Now, let me show you a map of every single city in the world. This is every city in the world. There is an ocean or a lake, there's a river, there's a hill, and there's an old money suburb. You know it's the old money suburb because it's got big trees. It's where all the rich old people live. So in any city in the world, can we work out which areas are going to go up in value first and fastest? Yes or no? Which areas are going to go up in value first and fastest? The inner city area. Where else is going to go up in value first and fastest? On the water, on the river, top of the hill, old money suburb. And then it filters out from there. There's a ripple effect to pricing in real estate. Always has, always will. See, anything from the ocean to the city is going to go up in value the first and fastest. The city centre, the old money, and the top of the hill. If there's two hills, wow! Great city! You start thinking about things like this, you can be a genius at this stuff fairly easily. Now, how else does it go up in value? Well, every city and every country in the world is the same. This is my country, Australia. I use it because I can draw the map. So this is Sydney. Sydney's the biggest city in Australia. This is Melbourne, the second biggest city in Australia. Brisbane, third. Perth, fourth. Now, which city is going to go up in value first and fastest? The smallest city or the biggest city? Yeah, I thought I gave that away pretty easily. Which one? The biggest. So Sydney's going to go up. Now, Sydney has just finished a big boom in real estate. Prices have gone up. It's doing really well, which means Melbourne is now about halfway through its boom. So I should be buying in Brisbane. Yay me. I'm a genius. It's not that hard. So this is the state of Queensland. In Queensland, it has 3 or 4 other major cities. Once Brisbane's gone up, are these other cities going to go up in price as well? Yes or no? Yeah, they're going to go up and up and up. And then once they've gone up, the smaller towns all around them will go up over time and it'll ripple out through the state. It doesn't matter if it goes up, but it kind of helps if we know where is going to go up well. City centre, on the water, top of the hill, old money suburb. Biggest city first. After the big cities had a boom, you go, oh crap, stop buying in the big city. Let's go and buy in the small town because it'll go up next. Are you guys all, see, Angela, you follow me here? You're a genius. You got this, right? Ultimately, my Monopoly playing friends, 4 green houses becomes 1 red hotel. Eventually, you start doing bigger deals. Eventually, you get to a point where you're doing deals, buying big houses, big apartment blocks, big high-rises, hotels. Because you've bought so many that you end up with such a capital value. And it becomes a real game. It really does. But if you truly get what I'm teaching you here, you will understand that the only way you can lose in real estate is to not buy one. It doesn't matter if it goes up or down. It only matters that you have a tenant that will pay the mortgage. Does that make sense? You know, ultimately, my friends, I love teaching people how to create wealth. I really do. But you've got to take action on it. You've actually got to do it. Which reminds me, have you filled in the pink form? Those of you that have filled in the pink form, I'm going to get you to stand up later because I want to see who's actually committed to it. If you haven't filled it in, you better fill it in because you won't be able to stand up without it filled in. So let's understand real estate a little more. In fact, let me teach you guys two things quickly. What do you think it is that is the biggest challenge for most people in becoming financially free? Actually doing the work or getting their head around the concept of them being rich? Which one? It's not doing the work, by the way. Most people's financial psychology is not strong. Their financial psychology, even though they know, and many of you in this room, you know what you should be doing for wealth. You know what you should also be doing to create more wealth for yourself and your family. But you're not doing it. Do you think there is something in your financial psychology that is messing with your ability to get rich? Yes or no? Hello, yes or no? Okay, if your financial psychology is not strong, then your financial reality will be not strong. My job is to teach you a strong financial psychology so that you actually do what it is you learn. There's no use learning and not doing. I got to get you to take action. Taking action is what I want you to leave this seminar doing. My experience is that if people don't make a decision to act in the room when they're at an event, chances are they will make no decision to act after that. Does that make sense for everybody? It's one of those things. If you don't decide here and now to do it, it's not going to happen. So the first things first, business owners, should you have filled in that yellow form? Yes or no? Hello, yes or no? Should everyone in the room at least be getting a book or doing something? The minimum you need to do is get a book, start reading. Every one of you is going to get 87 days of learning from me coming to you on your email. So that's the very minimum that you need to be doing. Some of you, if you want to find out about joining our company through coaching or through any of that, please hand in the blue form that comes with that. I want to teach you these 4 success points, and then I'm going to take a look at that pink form with you for a couple of minutes. 4 keys to success I've noticed, or 4 principles that successful people live by. Number 1 I've noticed is that they take action, or they make a decision immediately. They don't do that whole, oh, I need to think about it, or I should wait. Maybe I should talk it over with someone. They act immediately. It's not a wait, it's not a possibility, it's an immediate action. This is all my books on a Kindle Fire. I'm going to give this to someone in a little bit. But it's an immediate thing. It's not wait. How many of you know you've killed yourself off at times by not acting immediately? You just wait too long. Some of you have been waiting 20 years to buy your first investment property and it's killing you. If you'd bought it 20 years ago, it'd be yours now. Outright. Second one. Successful people never stop learning. They are always learning, always reading, always doing something when it comes to learning. I literally sat at lunch today and read a book. You know, my thing to you is if you can outlearn me, you can out-earn me. It's not hard. You just got to learn as much. Be willing to read. My best mentor, Jim Rohn, told me at 16 years of age, I ran down to Mr. Rohn after his seminar in the Brisbane City Town Hall, Brisbane, Australia. I said, Mr. Rohn, please sign my notes. He signed my notes. And I said, what's one thing you can tell me that will guarantee me to be a success? I'm a 16-year-old boy. How can I be guaranteed of success? He said, son, it's simple. Read a book a week for the rest of your life. 16 then, 44 today, I still read a book a week. Not a month. Not every 2 weeks, a week. Many weeks I read 2 or 3 books a week. It's the consistency factor. Third point, those who are successful invest. They take a percentage of their income and they invest. They invest in assets. They invest in their family. They invest in themselves. Invest in books, invest in knowledge, invest in online courses, invest in something, but keep investing. The number one investment I have made in my entire lifetime is me. Investing in knowledge for me, because once I learn it, I can use it forever. It never goes away. So what are you investing in right now? And do you need to invest in you? Most of you, the answer is yes. You might need to invest in a sales course. You might need to invest in business courses. You might need to invest in marketing courses. You might need to invest in investing courses. I'm not sure, but you got to invest if you want to be successful. And point number 4, they believe in themselves. And this is the one I want to focus on. They believe in themselves. They are willing to back their own judgment. They're willing to make a decision and stick with it. They're willing to believe that they can actually do it. See, here's my challenge with teaching you about wealth. My challenge with teaching you about wealth is that, unfortunately, many of you have been conditioned to believe it's not possible for you. I'm going to tell you it is possible for you. I'm going to show you, I've shown you tonight, in these last few hours, we had 4 goals at the start of the night. Number 1 was to have some fun. Did we do that? Hello? Yes? Okay, good, because I thought you guys had a good old laugh every now and again out there. Number 2 is to give you some education. Did you get some good notes, some things you can go do? Yes or no? Number 3 was for me to be your coach. Did I beat you up a bit tonight? Some of you feel good about that. Some of you not so good about that. Third thing, also to be your coach, I'm going to get you to make a decision tonight. I don't care if the decision is the yellow form, the blue form, the green form, or the pink form. But do the free one, get a book, I don't care what level, but start something tonight. Start something. I'm going to help you believe in you succeeding in wealth. Very simple thing. For those of you that are truly committed, you're going to stand up in a minute and you're going to have that pink form filled in. And I'm going to guarantee for you that success financially will happen for you to a simple degree. You come learn from me in Vegas, come learn my course, I guarantee you that you will succeed. To the point where if you don't, even if you just don't even like the course, I'll give you your money back. Everything we do with Action Coach has a guarantee. My coaching has a guarantee. We guarantee to make you more money than you invest with us, or we'll work for free. Our courses have a money-back guarantee on all of them. Why do you think we have a guarantee on it? So that you don't have to believe, I just have to believe in you. You don't have to believe that you're going to be a success yet. I believe in you. Now, every now and again, 1 in 100 people rips me off. They come to the course and they just ask for their money back. They never intended on paying. Who cares? Who cares? Good luck to them. You know, I don't really care. In fact, some people, they go, they pay for the course. It's on their credit card. They know they don't even have to pay their credit card off until they finish the course. No risk whatsoever. If I was to guarantee the course for you, would you come? See, this is the question. But it's time for you to make a decision. If you've filled in that pink form, please stand. Because only those who filled it in and stand up are going to get the offer. Stand up if you filled it in. Because if you filled it in, your intention is you want to go. Now the question is, will you go? It's your intention. You filled it in. Stand up. For those of you who want to pretend you filled it in, but you actually haven't, I'm going to turn around and have a drink so you can stand up while I'm not looking. All right. By the way, Walter is standing at the back. He is the person you need to see if you want to come join me in Vegas. There are some of you in this room that have already decided to come to Vegas. You don't care what the deal is. You just want to go. If you are the first person to do that, this Kindle Fire with all of my books on it is yours. You've decided? No, you can't just get it for free. You got to actually make a decision right now, Michael. See, understand this, my friends. I'm going to make you an offer that means every single one of you in this room can afford to come if you want to come. You can afford to be there if you want to be there. But you've got to make the decision. Not me. I can't make the decision for you. As your coach, I can push you hard to make a decision, but I can't make the decision for you. Now, for those of you still sitting down, here's the challenge I have for every single one of you. At what point in time tonight did you decide that you were not going to do this? Because what you've done is you've made a decision that says, and some of you, it was like before you even came here, you were like, no matter what he's selling, I'm not buying it. That's not my point. My point is, I've asked you to commit to your own wealth. And all I asked you to commit to is fill in a piece of paper and stand up. Because you don't know what the offer is yet. And that's scary for you, not me. No, please, folks, I'm trying to be as honest and blunt and sincere with you as I can be. Because the reality is, at some point in life, do you need to commit to your own financial success? Yes or no? So to show your commitment, all I've asked you to do is fill in a piece of paper and stand up. And some of you said, I'm not that committed yet. I want you to commit to yourself. There's only 3 reasons I run this course. The number 1 reason and most important reason is that I actually love teaching. It keeps me focused. It keeps me sharp. When I teach this course, I get better at doing the deals that I do because I'm teaching what I do. Second reason, I buy more companies from students at my courses than I get anywhere else in the market because I find great people that run companies and I invest in them. The third reason is because I want to create more millionaires who give back philanthropically. I do a whole segment on the course of how to be a great philanthropist and how to give back. If I create lots of millionaires, I'm going to create lots of charity. So here's the thing. There are some of you in this room that right now will go to Vegas no matter what the deal is. It's $6,000, you don't care. You will pay the full price to go no matter what. You're still going to get the super deal, but I want to know who those people are that have actually made a decision to go no matter what. I want to see who those first few people are that have made that decision to go no matter what. If that's you, then you need to go see Walter at the back right now. And if you're the first person, that was you, that's yours free. If you're that person, because the first 10 people up there, I'm going to give something to that's worth more than anything that I'm going to offer you for the rest of the night.